doing it. You supposed to be happy you sitting there with Kid L. Why you mad?
The Kid L Podcast.
Paul, Elia is in the building. How you doing today, bro?
What up, player? Man, you look like you robbed Santa and the kid.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, man? It's you know why I'm doing this? I told you why before the camera started rolling. I shaved my beard and I look horrific. My teeth are all messed up, and me and you were actually talking about how I can get veneers by leveraging my platform. One thing we talked about too is jewelry stores, like how a jewelry store should be sponsoring my podcast.
Yeah.
The reason I don't do it is because they tried. A jewelry store offered to give me like a $20,000 chain, and like, you just have to wear it every episode. And I was like, most likely I will get killed by the third episode wearing that fucking chain. It was like all gold, diamonds everywhere. So I was like, I'm not gonna risk my life wearing a chain. See, you're confused because you're not in the rap game, man.
Bro, why is everyone trying to kill everybody? Like, why don't you guys just be friends? How come everyone's not friends?
Because it's just, it gets real. That's the reality. I'm jealous. I'm envious of you, man, because the comedy world, I know there's sketchiness that happens behind scenes, people stealing jokes, people trying to fuck up each other's sets, all that type of shit you guys got to deal with. But do you have to deal with people getting killed?
Nah, man. No one has tried to take any of my Zara clothes. No one's ever tried to snatch any of my Marshall's cologne. By the way, Marshall's, bro, they got fire cologne, bro.
Oh, yeah.
They got Dolce & Gabbana. They got Versace, but they spelled it with a Z at the end.
Really?
Yeah, it smelled bad.
Huh.
Yeah,
So it's
bro.
like a knockoff version?
Yeah, I bought it.
You ever been to those Arabic stores that sell like knockoff Dove?
Oh, yeah, bro. We used to sell that at my mom's store. We used to sell shirts that said shirt. Like, we used to sell a bunch of items that were just named after the item.
Yeah. You know how you could tell it was a knockoff is if you read the instructions in the back, it would be like English and Mexican instructions for the soap. So then I was like, oh, this isn't the real fucking just Dove soap.
Oh, ours was just in emojis. Like, we sold some Dove soap that was only like Korean.
It
Writing.
didn't even say like the English trans.
Bro,
No,
it
man.
said Dove and also Korean.
Look, here's the thing about it, right? I wouldn't have a problem if the product was the same, but the product wasn't the same because I have very sensitive skin, so my skin gets very dry. I used to buy Dove from Kroger, and it used to make my skin feel fine. And then I would buy the Arabic Dove brand, and my skin would get more itchy. So I'm like, it's not just the titles are different and the captions different. Something is up with these products.
Dog. You bought soap called Falcon. That shit ain't even the right bird, player.
Bro, I had to come to your comedy special a couple months ago, was it right? Like about 2 months ago.
Man, it was good to see you there, bro.
It was insane watching you perform. It was literally insane because I had no clue how good you were. Like, I watched your clips on Instagram. I never got to fly out to Cali and see you or anything like that. Watching your Detroit Players show, I was like, this dude's a fucking comic, but like to the next level. And the way that you mixed the Middle Eastern culture and the American culture and made it very digestible for Americans to understand was insane. I've never seen anybody do it. I only see like Asians and Koreans be able to do it for their culture, but I've never seen a Middle Eastern comedian be able to make people understand what the fuck we grew up like living through and how we were raised. So the way you balanced that was just genius, bro. Like straight up genius, bro.
Hey man, Kid L don't use the word genius a lot.
I don't use it. It was brilliant. I was surprised. And you had you had Ian Edwards open up for you?
Yeah.
Dude, what the fuck? Like, how does that even happen? Like to me, that's like one of the fucking legends, like stamped in the game forever. Like how?
Bro, that's just my guy, man. You know, I've been able to, well, first of all, bro, thank you for everything you said, man. I appreciate that. And I've been able to have really solid relationships with some very talented people. And I'm very fortunate that. I'm very grateful for that, bro. God is good. I'm so grateful for that player.
Yeah.
And Ian and I have been working together for a while. I've never really asked him for any favors. So I was just like, you know, bro, obviously, huge favor. But I would love you come to Detroit and open it up just for vibe reasons.
Yeah.
And because you're my boy. And in a lot of ways, he's been like a mentor to me in so many ways. So I was just like, man, it would be cool to have him there. So I was like, yeah, bro, come through. He's like, say less. Came through.
Legendary, dude. Legendary way to open up. And you know, I go to a lot of stand-up shows. I watch like, you know, Cat Williams and stuff open up shows, and a lot of the times they pick these guys that don't understand the culture, the city, or anything that's going on, and they're just doing whatever the hell they think can fly. I think picking Ian was like a very, very like smart decision. Like he understood the crowd. Like he read the room. He knew what the fuck we were going into, and then it bled well into what you were doing, which is awesome. So it's like you had, even though it's a special, and I don't know how much he's not going to be in the actual taping, right?
No.
But even to just get the crowd warmed up was awesome to see. Like how well crafted you were with picking the people that were opening up for you.
Yeah, man, it was definitely by design. Also, like he is the homie, and also he has a different pace than I do. So I wanted him to open up before me. And like Ron G, who hosted the show, he's very high energy. This guy is such a master at hosting. This guy has hosted Chocolate Sundays at the Laugh Factory for years. So him and Ian together just created a good vibe. And also, Chappelle says this too, Detroit is not the easiest market for stand-up comedy, bro. It's just the crowds they lean a little more on the difficult side.
Yeah.
They're not like as easy as like some other crowds. Like DC is one of the best cities for stand-up comedy, in my opinion. And DC, the crowds are so fire. They're so live and they're so like ready. But Detroit is like you really gotta get them. And then when you get them, you got them.
Yeah.
But it's typically a pretty unforgiving, like sort of like Apollo energy where it's like, if you're not hilarious, we're not just gonna laugh, bro. Some people are like, listen, bro, my house has been repossessed. And I'm now at this comedy show with my wife, who I don't even like.
Right.
So you better really be hilarious.
My friend T Barb, she's a comedian from Detroit, and she says it like she says, normally when you go to a comedy show, the audience is there to laugh. In Detroit, they're there to see if you can make them laugh. Like, it's like a whole different thing. It's like when you go to a comedy show, it's like, yeah, I'm ready to have fun and laugh and enjoy myself. But when you come to Detroit, it's almost like, motherfucker, what are you about to do? Like, it's that kind of attitude. Like, can you make me get out of this mood that I'm in? Can you make me get out of the fucking zone that I'm in? Can you do that? And I've seen a lot of Detroit comedians try to fucking pull their way out. I noticed that confidence is obviously a huge thing. You got to come in striking, and you got to make fucking sense, man. You got to make fucking sense. Some of these cats that are doing these opening shows, man, they just throw out random topics and it goes nowhere with no substance or no backbone to it, and they just Detroit just sniffs it out. Like, we're not fucking laughing at that bullshit. You know what I'm saying,
bro? You know what's interesting? One time there was this show, and it was like this front row is this older cat and his wife. They're sitting down, and this comic is just bombing hard. I can't remember it was some comic in Detroit. Bombing is bad. And then he looks at the front row, and the guy's just not laughing out, and he goes, so, you guys a couple? Like, he's just trying to, like, just build anything out of laughter. Clearly his joke's not working. He goes, you guys a couple? And the dude was like, man, just do your skit. and then the guy was like, you say what? And he goes, just keep doing your skit. Yeah. And then the guy was like, so, my girlfriend is he literally just went back to doing his skit.
Man, yeah, crowd work was over at that point. Like, I'm done. I'm not even gonna fucking try, dude.
You won't find very few people.
Do you think it's a good thing? It's like a grind aspect of that, like to have that challenge of a Detroit audience and just knowing you have to really work for it? Or do you think that it's not really something you have to work for, but it just there's an understanding that needs to be had to connect with the Detroit audience?
You know, bro, of all like the major cities, and I'm talking about like San Francisco, LA, New York, Chicago, DC, Detroit, like let's say Austin, let's say this is one of the major cities, there's not a whole lot of comedy in Detroit, bro. Mm-hmm. There's just not a whole lot. Performance art, which is so interesting because this is the Motor City. This is like the home of like Motown. And, you know, maybe the music scene. I can't speak for the music scene. You know what I'm saying? You obviously know a lot more than I do. Obviously, it's like you interview, you know, some of the, every rapper in Michigan, I feel like you know who they are. I think you know who they are.
I know who they are, yeah.
Yeah, you know all of them. And you probably know like hella backstory. You know, all these cats. So like you're very tapped into the music scene. You understand it. The comedy scene, bro, is just, at least I don't think it's just not, we don't have a whole lot of comedy clubs.
There's not many. I know like 10 of them, and I know some cats. I know like Blaine Hill, like Brett Mercer. I know these cats that have Brad Wenzel. He was on Conan at one point. I watched them for like 10 years now, for 12 years, because I used to be at Detroit Comedy Underground with Mike Stanley. And, God, did I just say his name wrong since I haven't seen him?
Mike Stanley, no, you said it right.
Mike Stanley, yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think he's in Utah now.
Yeah, I remember he like flew out to Denver at first, he's at Denver, and then he was like I don't know what the fuck he was doing, but he was legendary. Started Detroit Comedy Underground. I was there filming it, and the same exact guys that were performing there in 2012 are performing in these clubs in Hamtramck and Ferndale still. And I don't know their business. I don't know what's going on with them, but if you're working in comedy for that long, that's scary, bro. Like, and to not have like something out, like a special or like a present name or something that where like it's slapped somewhere on Netflix or a platform, that's scary to be working in comedy for that fucking long, man. And it's because maybe it's a lack of comedy that's happening in the cities. Maybe they can't find a good circuit. Or like we said, Detroit's just a tough crowd, so it's hard to build like a real fan base and grow off that. You know what I mean?
It's a cold game, bro. I don't know any comics who like just stayed in Detroit and blew up being in Detroit. I don't know a whole lot. I'm sure there are some.
Do you know any
that stayed in Detroit, never left Detroit?
Oh no, they did. Like just examples of some Detroit.
Oh yeah, they had to leave. I mean, bro, like Mike Young, I would say Mike Young, Tim Allen. You know, like we could go down the list, bro.
For real?
Of like Detroit comics, bro. I'll say Howie Bell. Howie Bell's so funny, bro. That guy's so well respected, such a G in comedy. You know, obviously the up and coming cats, you know, that are actually I wouldn't say up and coming. They're like pretty much there, you know, like the ones that came here, lived in LA. Like there's a lot of comics from Detroit that moved to LA and moved to New York, and you know they're doing well.
So you have to leave. You have to leave your city to make it, kind of.
I think for rap, maybe you can. And I actually have a question for you, real quick. Mm-hmm. Can you make it in Detroit as a Detroit rapper and just not leave Detroit?
Probably not, dude. I mean, I haven't seen it. They all fly to Oakland. They all fly to New York. They all fly to Atlanta. They're back and forth between all the cities.
Like the major producers that are here, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sure there's probably a handful of like, I'm talking top echelon producers. I'm including like Royce and Eminem and like, you know.
Oh, you mean like, yeah, well they had to move around. Well, yeah, Royce and them on the mainstream level, like, I mean, yeah, Royce is successful, but those are 1 in a fucking billion opportunities.
And they live here still.
Yeah, they're still here. Like Royce is still here, Eminem is still here, Big Sean's still here. I mean, they're, you know, between California and here and stuff like that. I mean, but the thing is they had to fly out to build success somewhere else too as well. Royce is a very, very like, that's a crazy scenario. You're working with Eminem, you're on these huge platforms and everything like that. So technically he was countrywide, like he's circulating throughout the whole country. But to literally, like, for instance, I heard in the comedy scene, I heard that if you grow up in Boston in the comedy scene, you can literally make a career just out of Boston. And I also heard that in LA, you can literally just make a career out of LA as a comedian. If you're just going across all the circuits and doing your own shows constantly, you'll find a network enough to fund yourself. But as far as like a rapper in Detroit, I haven't seen somebody that's just like chilling here.
Like are people going to like rap shows in Detroit?
Yeah, they are, but they're going more for the people that are outside of the city than inside the city. I mean, inside of the city guys are still doing well, but a lot of the times when you see these tour flyers, sometimes they don't even come to Detroit.
But like let's say it's like a group of like 5 top like you know, I would say up and coming artists in Detroit.
Yeah,
right. That have like decent followings.
They see the thing is they have to strategize their shows, so they can only do like one show every like, you know, like 3 or 4 months or some shit like that. Because if they overdo it, then it's like everybody who already went to see them already saw them, and then they're not gonna run back again to like do it. They don't have that. They're not gonna sell out the entire thing multiple fucking times. Like
I think that's the difference between Detroit and some of these other cities.
What?
Because they're gonna come out, and also there's motherfuckers that are in like Flint that will drive from Flint all the way to the show.
Right.
There's people that are driving from Ypsilanti, from wherever, and it's like, I think people in Ypsi, Flint, they're like, nah. But in other cities, like, they're okay to drive to like some spot in Boston and go to some club because there's someone that they really like, and they would go like, I don't know. I mean, that's because even when I was coming up doing stand-up, it's like, there's people where I'm like, bro, how's this not completely sold out right now?
Right.
Like, I mean, I'm the only one in my culture doing stand-up comedy, and all these people are like hitting me up, come do a show, and I do a show, and they just don't, you know, it's like a struggle to sell tickets, right? Also, it's a marketing thing on my end too. Obviously, I probably could have marketed better and hired somebody and made sure to do sponsored ads and all this other shit, because there's people with no following and they're able to sell out shows all the time. They sell them out and they're able to do it in really clever ways, right? So it's like, I guess I'm just wondering, I'm like, man, I feel like Detroit, when it comes to like live entertainment, I don't think the people are like so thirsty about it.
You have to piece everything together, especially if you're doing a comedy act. Like, again, even the openers, because the openers are bringing their old crowd. So like I was saying, even when I went to watch Cat Williams' show, I was actually blown away at the fact that none of his openers were from Detroit and they were all horrendously terrible. So it's like but he almost sold out. Like, he got pretty close to selling out, but he would have completely sold out if he had Detroit openers, because all of those Detroit openers are going to promote the show, and then everybody's going to pull up on them. So your opening acts are humongous. Like, you got to make sure in each city, like, who makes the most sense, and if they don't have a nationwide reach. You know what I'm saying? If your opening acts have a nationwide reach, then you're fucking fine. Like, they're going to be able to reach that city and let them know that they're coming to perform. But if they don't have a fucking nationwide reach, then your openers aren't bringing anybody to the fucking show. If it's a different city.
Yeah. But we don't, like, you know, when you're on Cat Williams level, it's like, bro, you can't sell out a theater. And it's like, dog, you're Cat Williams.
Yeah.
Clearly, it's like whoever's behind it, whatever company's behind it promoting it, that's a flaw on their end. Because it's like, Cat Williams still to this day can sell out any theater, I think. It's like, he's just so iconic. So but most of the people who don't go is because they had no idea.
Yeah, but think about it. Then you just hire like the biggest fucking comedian from that city, book them for the fucking opening, and then you're guaranteed to sell that 20% that you didn't fucking sell out.
Well, it could also be that big person knows they're big and they're like, bro, why would I open for you when I can just do my own show?
That's true too.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like us finding someone in that area, like as an example, if I'm in Detroit and someone I didn't know is like, hey man, I want you to open up for me and I also want to promote you, I'm going to be like, cool, well, you're going to have to pay me properly. I'm going to need a percentage.
Right.
And if they're like, no, you should be happy that you're here, I'm going to be like, first of all, that's when I get that. I'm like, hi, first of all. I get very like customer service. I'm so sorry that you're going through all this. However, there's nothing we could do.
Right. That's what you have the luxury of being able to say yes and no to things, which a lot of comedians have to admire, right? Because you're not going to say yes to something that doesn't make sense for you. You're at a position now where your name is so strong that, you know, you can turn down things that for somebody else would be the greatest wish of all time. But for you, it doesn't make sense, right? And for you, it could either hurt you or be a waste of your time, or you could just go do something that's going to be more beneficial to your career.
Yeah, man, I've been doing this for so long. I was essentially shooting at every target I saw. And I've hit enough targets now to where I'm just like, all right, man, let me hang back and hit the targets that make sense.
Right.
Because we got a limited amount of bullets in the chamber.
And, you know, the communities talk, too. If they hear that this guy is willing to do whatever, and then you can get abused. People will be like, this motherfucker's going to do it for that. All right, boom. And then in the rap game, people talk about prices. Like, I know what he charges, and I know what he does, and I know what he's willing to do it for so much that you're better off just zooming out and really, just like you said, picking the targets that you want to pick. You don't want to be in the mix of the community where everybody knows what the fuck you got going on. Well, a rapper came on here and he said that in the best way possible. He said, never show your hand. It took me forever to understand what the fuck he was talking about, but he was saying, like, just don't let people know what you got going on.
And you're like, wait, hang on a second.
At first I was looking at my hands, and then I was playing poker one day, and then I was like, wait a minute. This all makes sense now.
Yeah, you're holding him up like this. Hey, guys.
So me and my girlfriend came to watch your show, man, and again, phenomenal show. There was one joke you took, because, you know, I'm obviously, if anybody doesn't know, I'm fucking Chaldean too, so I understood everything you were saying to the T. The joke you have about the hand-me-down jacket is the fucking funniest joke I've seen live.
Wow.
That was like, I literally was crying laughing when you were fucking telling that joke. It was just too relevant to me, man. This obviously a true story, right?
Yeah, man.
It has to be.
Yeah, my mom bought my brother a yellow Ralph Lauren polo big puffer jacket.
Yeah.
My brother didn't want to wear it because he goes, Mom, it's just big and yellow. Like, I'm going to get clowned. I don't want to wear this. So he just never wore it. It was just hanging up in his closet. And then my mom gave it to me as a birthday gift, but she wrapped it up. And I was just like, wait, I know this jacket because I remember you got it for him. And I know he didn't like it. So you just gave it to me. So, man, I used to get all my brother's hand-me-down shit. My mom basically would buy 2 outfits because I have 2 older brothers and 1 younger brother. My mom would buy 2 outfits for my older brothers, and then once they grow out of it, my mom would take it and give it to me and my brother, my other brother. So it was definitely a hand-me-down situation. And it's like, it's so funny to, like, you know, obviously go through and just think about the strategic ways my mom would, you know, style us. But then it's just like so sweet too, and it's like, yeah, bro, that's life, man. You know, that's like I think kids are too spoiled now, bro. I'm like, dog, you getting your own jacket?
Man.
You wear your own clothes? You don't share underwear?
The sharing underwear
Must
thing
be
is kind of
nice.
crazy, man.
Yeah, that's.
You ever
little
looked
girl
at your
stuff.
boxers and seen somebody else's initials on them?
What?
You ever looked at your boxers when you were growing up and like seen somebody else's initials on your boxers?
Like written?
Yeah, like because my cousin's name was Rami, and like he had a brother named Randy, and so they would separate their clothes by writing their names on their boxers. And then one day I was wearing these boxers, and my cousin's like, "Yo, those are my fucking boxers," and I was like, "Wait, my mom handed me down my cousin's fucking boxers," and I looked at the initials, and it was RAM. I was like, "Oh my god."
How long did you know beforehand? Or
I
you
used
never...
to sniff those boxers because I used to sniff my own boxers when I was a kid. I was like 6 or 7 years old.
Right.
I don't know why I was doing it. I was just doing it.
Okay.
And then I started realizing like these are my fucking cousin's boxers, bro.
Right.
It was crazy. This is like a therapy session now.
Yeah.
But it was weird.
There's a lot to unpack.
But the whole point is like the hand-me-downs don't just stop with your brothers and your dad. They fucking in our family they went to your cousins and your cousins' cousins. Like it didn't stop.
Yeah, bro. My uncle gave me his gloves, and I never wore gloves. He had these leather gloves, and it was Christmas, and then he just reached in his pocket and goes, "Hey, here you go." So now I just got these like big-ass gloves.
Man,
Yeah.
they cut costs in every corner, man.
Yeah, bro.
Did your parents learn because you have a I know your brother is like doing his things, highly successful in what he's doing. Did your family seeing your success, seeing his success, and seeing your other family members' success go like being cheap and being like bargaining is not the way to go anymore? Did they like flip the switch like let's start living life with like spending money and enjoying life?
Man, my mom still is like trying to save money at all costs.
Damn.
It's just part of her DNA now.
Yeah.
Me, obviously, I'm like mad flagrant. Like I spend money probably way too crazy. Like whenever I pay on an iPad, I always add a tip. I always add at least $1, even though I don't need to, because I'm like, they're not doing nothing. They're not doing nothing.
Yeah.
Like, bro, I'll order a coffee, and then they're like, all right, here you go. And then I'm like, all right, I'll add a tip for the coffee person. But then sometimes I'm like picking up food, and then like add a tip, and I'm like, why? I'm picking this up.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I know the person that switches the iPad, they know I selected no tip, and then they start giving me sass.
Yeah.
Like they'll be like, all right, great. Or they'll be like, answer 2 questions. And then the question 1 is like, would you like to leave a tip? And do you condemn Hamas? You haven't gotten that?
That's a crazy direction to go into.
You haven't gotten that on the iPad?
Look, man, I've been going to these. Yeah, you got to do it. You got to give the $1 up. I mean, the $1 for sure. I don't. If the girl's like being really nice or the person's nice, like I'll randomly do 5 if I'm having a good day. But
You give him 5?
if it's a good day, if it's a good fucking day, I'll be
Like
"Here."
today, you're giving nothing.
Today I didn't give shit, man.
Yeah, you got a beard.
Yeah, I walked right past the fucking Santa panhandler.
You
dude.
stole the coffee, actually.
Yeah, bro. I literally, it's like people, I don't know, man. The tipping thing is cool. You know why I feel bad? It's because I remember working. You ever worked like a normal job, like
Yeah.
a bullshit ass job? What was like the most bullshit job you ever had?
Well, I worked at my mom's store. I was a cashier.
That's as bullshit as it gets.
Yeah, I worked at a gas station. Oh yeah, I worked at a gas station, BP gas station, bro. 10 at Evergreen, now mobile.
See, this is like making our the whole liquor store gas station stereotype. It's like they can see why it's happening because we both did the same shit.
You too?
Yeah, same shit. But like, okay, that is the most bullshit job you can get, but outside of family.
Outside of family, I worked at a nightclub.
Oh,
I was a bar back. I did valet. I worked as on set as like a grip. Essentially, grip. I'm like picking up wires, setting up ladders, putting cameras away, taking out lenses, like basically just working within the department of set. That was I did that. I worked at a restaurant for a few days.
that's what I'm talking about. The restaurant shit.
Yeah.
But wait a minute, 3 of your jobs are tip influenced fucking jobs though, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Valet, you got paid, son. I know that.
Yeah, it was cool. They made us split the tips, but I was hustling, bro. I would hustle. But the thing is, I just want to make some money, so I was always like, I was giving the best customer service I can give.
Yeah. I would be too fucking fearful, dude. If somebody drops me off a Ferrari or some shit and you got to park that, I wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah.
That's too much, bro. Talk about the response from the special past the show. Like the show, I was there. Everybody went fucking nuts. You did 2 days, right?
3.
You did 3 days?
2 days, 3 shows. Sorry.
2 days, 3 shows, and all of them the same result as like when I was there. Like, because everybody went nuts when I fucking.
You were at the last show, right? The third show, late night.
I was at the 9 o'clock show.
Yeah, that was a late show.
Yeah.
So, bro, the best show was the early show on Saturday.
Really?
Oh man, I was in my bag, bro. I was in my bag, man. It was fire, and I mean, all the shows were great, and I'm very happy with this final product. We released a special on Christmas Eve. It's out right now on Mint Comedy. By the way, very easy. $8.99. Use promo code Paul, all capital letters. Get half off. Watch the special. Support it. Motherfucker.
Wait, $8.90. It's half off at $8.99.
Yeah.
So that means it's like $4.
$4.99.
It sucks.
Yeah.
I would hate that.
I mean, some people are like, nah.
I would have spent 20 on that easy.
Yeah, I know, man, but
Like
I'm just
minimum.
I think there's a lot of subscriptions, and I'm just like, bro, I ain't trying to get rich off this. I literally just want people to watch it so they can watch me live.
Yeah.
This whole thing is a trailer to see me live for my next show. My next show, bro, I'm very proud of it. I already cooked up my next show, so hopefully, if y'all see me in town again, you'll come to a show, come to this next one. But man, I'm very grateful for the show. It is my best work. And I'm getting a lot of love, bro. A lot of people in the community resharing it. Matt Rife's an executive producer. He's the homie. Bassem Youssef is a producer on it, a very dear friend. And they're all pushing it out, man. So I'm very grateful for where it's at right now.
When was the official release for people to be able to stream it?
Christmas Eve.
So it was like 3 days ago, basically, or
Yeah.
like 2 days ago. Yeah, so you haven't seen the results of the sales yet, or like what
Not
the
yet.
response is.
Not yet.
Yeah,
but it's doing well, they said.
Yeah, it's good, dude. What the fuck, bro? I know. Look, man, I'm not trying to be a fucking like comic connoisseur or nothing. I know comedy. This shit had no downtime. It had no lag. It had no like fucking moments of dullness. It had no moments of like, all right, let's get through this joke. It was literally like boom, 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 perfect execution, and all high quality fucking concepts. So it's like it's just pure comedy.
Thank you, man.
I was gonna say something, but I shouldn't say that. But I was gonna say like,
tell me.
Dude, I watched a lot of stand-up specials from all comics, like all the time. I've been watching since fucking Comedy Central did fucking Comedy Central Presents, bro. Some of these new comics that are dropping specials don't need to be dropping specials, bro. They need to fucking keep working until they're ready to drop a fucking special. And so when I'm watching all these guys, and then I came to your show, I was like, okay, this is how you fucking do it. Which I'm not gonna lie, bro. Before I got there, I didn't know. I was like, Paul gonna be able to do this? Because I was thinking to myself, like, you don't just drop a special out of fucking nowhere. Like, I was like, is he gonna be able to like really tie it together? And then I watched it, like, it's fucking brilliantly tied. So when I'm watching these other cats that are dropping specials and they're not ready to do it, it's like, how are they gonna be making sales and you're not gonna be making sales? I mean, I watched like Ari Shafir's fucking stand up. I watched Shane Gillis. Guy's fucking crushing it, and I felt like your shit was like right on par with what the fuck they're doing.
Wow, man. Thank you, bro.
I'm serious.
I put a lot of time into it, man.
Yeah.
I put a lot of time into it. Literally multiple Google Docs, every joke written out, highlighted, color coordinated. How does this relate to this? So I put in the time, so that's why I felt really comfortable and happy with what we ended up getting.
That's cool, man. Yeah, so now you're just gonna be able to wait and see what happens, like as far as response is concerned.
Wait to see what happens, man. I mean, best case scenario is that this takes off. I mean, we already gotten some good write-ups from Deadline. Deadline did a really sweet write-up on it, and trailer's already at 1 million views. Posted it 2 days ago.
Oh, really cool.
Yeah. So it's like people are all sharing it, and it's doing well right now. So, man, best case scenario is that I'm able to just put together a world tour.
That'd be sick, dude.
Yeah, that'd be sick, man.
And you already started planning your next special, you said?
Yeah. I basically already had it in the back of my mind. So I basically had 2 specials.
Oh.
I had this special, Detroit Player. Then I had this other special that had a bunch of other stories in it and a bunch of other ideas in it. And I tried originally to put them both together. But then I was like, I think I can make this more concise if I just remove all these jokes. So I removed all those jokes. And then afterwards I looked at those jokes I removed and I was like, oh, there's a whole nother story here.
Sick.
So I was like, cool. I got that cooking right now. Let me just finish this. So once I finish Detroit Player, now I'm working on this other one.
What demographic do you find understands your comedy the most? And is most of your comedy relative to your upbringing? Or is it like, are you touching on subjects that are universal?
I I mean, definitely Detroit player, it's very universal. Obviously, I talk about family, I talk about sex, I talk about religion, politics, and various situations I've been put into. So I definitely feel very universal. And I've opened for Hassan, Mo Amer, Rami, Matt Rife. Matt Rife, very white female audience. Hassan, brown audience. Rami, similar. Mo, similar. You know, them three probably have like similar feel of like audience. And then someone like Matt, all white, complete different.
Yeah.
Completely different. And it's like I feel comfortable with both. I'm like, yeah, both these crowds get me.
Okay, cool. So yeah, it's like you're able to touch on multiple demographics, which is cool.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, you know, Mo, Hassan, Rami, their audiences are like definitely like a mix. And it's like Matt's is also somewhat of a mix, but it's so heavily, you know, it's very female.
Yeah.
Right? So it's very female.
Very rare to see something like that.
Yeah, well, bro, that's what I was so proud of him, man. He's basically introduced a whole new audience to comedy.
Yeah.
So a lot of these people normally would not be at a show, you know? And then that's why it's cool to see, like, you know, obviously people, the more comedy fans start to get to know him, now it's like his shows are packed with like legit comedy fans. They're like, yo, we fucking love comedy. They get it, you know?
So like at first it was just like a bunch of girls that are like, I want to see this hot ass guy. And then all of a sudden they're like, let me bring my boyfriend to the shit. And then he like started slowly building a fan base.
Yeah, basically his fan base got remixed in some ways.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet it wasn't even like planned. I bet it was just like fucking naturally just happening. Look, man, the guy's a charming looking motherfucker at the end of the day. So all these females, and then they fucking bring their boyfriends, and then the boyfriends are actually comedy fans, and then they get the word out, and then it's all happening. He dropped the special too, right?
Yeah.
Just recently?
Yeah, I produced that one too.
Really? Mm-hmm. Cool. How'd that turn out?
Man, it killed.
Dude, you know what? The news always goes fucking crazy when you guys drop comedy specials, man. Like, they always have to fucking pinpoint something, like, point it out, and like, what the fuck is this? I don't remember what the fuck he said. Well, I do know what he said, but dude, the guy got so much flack. But then I started thinking, like, is this all just part of marketing? Like, is this all just like some kind of trick to get people to talk controversially about the fucking stand-up acts?
The devil.
You think, man? I don't know. You're part of it, so you might know.
Nah, man. It's definitely not calculated that way. But that was the end result, is that it was a huge marketing ploy because, bro, I mean, he just announced 10 more shows. And I think 2 of them are at the Hollywood Bowl, and I believe they're sold out. I believe they're sold out. I know if they're not sold out, they're almost sold out.
Yeah.
So it's like, that doesn't feel like canceled to me in any way.
Yeah, no, it's more of a boosting type of it's a boosting type of cancel. You know what I mean? Like, people will point out something, it's controversial. Dave Chappelle went through it too when he dropped out his latest special. He had said some things about certain types of people or whatever, and people were bashing, but it just built more controversy around the tape, and then everybody went to go fucking watch it. So sometimes it's a better thing than that. He lost my cousin as a fan, which sucked because my cousin was like on the fence about Matt, and then he was like, after that fucking joke, dude, I was done. I'm like, what? Yeah, he said something about
the domestic violence joke.
No, it was the one that
helmets?
the helmets. Yeah, that's what got my cousin. He's like, you click the link, and all of a sudden the helmets pop up, and I was like, I'm not gonna lie, it's fucking hilarious. I always side with my cousin, but I was like, that was actually fucking funny, dude. Like, who thinks outside of the box to fucking do? It's an interactive joke.
That's hilarious.
But so you got to produce that as well.
Man.
That's pretty cool. What's the role as far as a producers for specials like that?
It varies. I was with him on the road. We were like riffing material, and you know, it's very common. Most comics, when they're traveling on the road, they'll like hire like a producer that also consults on like the special, you know? And it's sort of like either whether it's like tags, framework, or whatnot. So that's how I helped him.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool, man. Talk about after the special, do you get to, it promotes you in its own way, but do opportunities come your way that you didn't like foresee coming? Has anything came since the release of that special? Has anybody reached out to you or anything for to kind of move forward with you on anything?
I don't mean to brag.
Yeah. You should.
Someone did offer to paint me.
Huh.
And they said they'll give me half off the painting of me. And I took it.
Cool.
It's pretty sick.
Did you get it?
No, not yet. They're still painting it. I sent them a photo. So I got this painting deal. That's it.
Damn.
Yeah.
Paintings. Listen, it's still early, man. You still got plenty of time.
There's still time.
There's still time, man. What the fuck?
Yeah, I know.
What about as far as your own shows are concerned, man? Are you guys still doing shows at the Comedy Store? Like, are you guys still have your own events there?
Sometimes, yeah.
What do you mean sometimes?
Like, we kind of took a step back from like doing shows there.
Why?
We're just never around. We're just never in town.
Oh, you mean you're too busy like doing other shows and stuff?
Yeah, I'm kind of doing other shows right now.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so, but once I'm back in town, I definitely, hit them up. I mean, they're cool peeps, so I can hit them up like, yo, I'm ready to do a show. And they're like, cool, what day? This day. Boom, let's go.
Very cool, man.
Yeah.
Have you got a chance to get to the mothership again?
Nah, man, but I love the Comedy Mothership.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan created a phenomenal, not just comedy club, bro, just a phenomenal experience. It's like everything is high quality. Everything just looks cool. You can tell that there was a lot of care and thought put into it. And sometimes there's some clubs you go to that's literally just like a stage with some chairs.
Yeah.
And there's a light, and then the light is old as hell, and there's like an old-ass dimmer board, like the cheapest dimmer board you can get. And it's like audience members are sitting down. They don't got no music for them. The microphones don't even work. The walls are all fucked up.
Man.
And it's just like the chairs are all wobbly. Like, and the thing is, I also respect those places because those places have a lot of history in their fire. But man, Joe Rogan was like, bro, I'm going to create a motherfucking experience for y'all players. You're going to come in here and be like, damn.
Yeah, dude.
And that's what you leave saying. You're like, damn. You're like,
when somebody's so rich in history of comedy, it's like they only know how to produce what they would have always wanted coming up as like a comedian, probably. I heard like Louis C.K. helped them design some of it too in the interior.
Shit, I won't be surprised.
And I heard that it used to be like owned by like cult leaders and shit like that. But
cult leaders are cool, man.
What cults are you following?
Shit, I don't know, man. But cult leaders got good personalities.
Yeah, they have sex with everybody in the cults. It's crazy.
Yeah, man. The ones that are having sex with their followers,
Yeah.
that's fucked up.
Why?
Like, as a cult leader, I feel like as a cult leader, bro, you gotta say no. Like, if let's say some girl's like, damn, you're so fine, I wanna like, lay with you, my leader. He needs to be like, baby girl, I'm gonna need you to get right.
Yeah.
You gotta find yourself a man. I'm just trying to run this cult. I ain't even trying to fuck. And then they're gonna be like, man, now I really want to be in this cult. That's how you get them. But the thing is, cult leaders, they think too short term. They're like, no, I'm trying to fuck immediately. And it's like, dog, you got 3 followers. Yeah. Once you wait till you have like 1 million followers, then you got 1 million. Not that I know so much about culting or am I a cult advocate. I'm actually anti-cult.
You anti-cult?
I'm anti-cult, bro.
What's that one cult, David Gresham or whatever the fuck that guy's name was? The guy who did Waco, Texas. The guy who, remember Waco?
Nah, I don't remember him.
Waco, man, he had like that whole fucking like big ass building with a bunch of people and he was fucking everybody's wives. And then the fucking police and ATF swarmed the place and started killing everybody inside. And then the whole building burned on fire and killed like 200 members.
Is this a Bruce Willis movie?
No, this is like a real fucking story about Waco, Texas. And the thing that's funny about it is if the ATF and the FBI just left them alone, nobody would have died. And they weren't hurting anybody. So they were just chilling, doing their own like sex thing. And then the police invaded and fucking killed everybody. It's fucking crazy, dude.
I don't understand how someone can follow a cult because sometimes I watch these documentaries and I'm like, I totally understand you're duped. I feel sorry for you. But some of them, I'm like, man, you just dumb.
Yeah, yeah.
Like one time there was this woman, she was like, when I first met Adam, he invited me to his cult and I stayed there for a while and everything was normal. And then after I was pregnant with his 3rd child, I thought, okay, something's up. Bitch.
Have you ever met somebody that stupid though in your life? That like would probably fall for a cult? You had to if you work in Hollywood, man.
Bro, I have. Bro, honestly, Hollywood in some ways is a cult.
Right.
I would say, bro, I have met some dumb people, but, bro, some of these motherfuckers that are in the cult, like, yeah, and then after he branded me and called me his slave and forced me to eat out of a dog bowl, I thought, you know what? Something's not normal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's when you think something's not normal?
Yeah.
Then It's too late. You're collared.
Yeah.
You've now turned into a pet.
Pretty much.
And now you're like, hang on. I haven't talked to my family in 3 years. This is weird.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, bro, if I ever join a cult, I'm asking questions. I'm going to say, like, can I leave? And then I'm going to say, are you trying to smash? The thing is, I'm going to ask him. I'll ask him or her immediately.
Yeah.
I'll be like, hey, I heard a lot about this cult. I'm trying to join. Question, bro, you trying to fuck?
Yeah.
And then if they're like, I'll be like, hey, the honesty, I'll dap him up for the honesty, but I'll be like, but you know I got a girl. And he goes, yeah, I know her.
And that sounds like the rap game. That's crazy. That's pretty much how the rap game goes.
Really?
Yeah, like if a female, not for me personally, but like female artists will go to like a producer and the producer's like, I'm going to make you fucking famous. You just got to suck my dick. And then they're like, all right. And then you're just like a whole part of this whole sucking every rapper and producer's dick until you make it to the top.
Bro, if you have to suck dick,
Yeah.
just get that in writing. Just be like, hey, I will suck your dick.
Right.
However, you promise to produce 5 songs? Okay, great. I'm going to need that drafted.
Yeah.
I need to draft it up. I need a lawyer to look it over, entertainment attorney.
Is it legal?
Well, to basically,
Screw your way to the top?
I don't think it's illegal.
Is it legal? Is it?
I don't know.
I don't know. Hollywood has like
I don't think it's illegal to fuck anyone you want to fuck. I don't think that's illegal.
Right.
Like, I don't think it's illegal for there to be an exchange of goods. Like, hey, you give me head, and in exchange, I'll give you this part in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's illegal. It's definitely immoral in so many ways, bro. It's like you should not be doing that. And then, bro, stuff for the law, bro. Some of these people are like married and they're doing this anyway, and it's like taking advantage of people during this hard time, bro. Obviously, it's so disgusting, so fucked up. I hate that, bro.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's the name of the game that we're in. There's a lot of sick people that basically want to take advantage of their power for like sexual desires.
Yeah.
But you should get it in writing.
Facts. Or like, like get it on recording or something. All the girls that I've ever hooked up with, I always tried to keep like a sound recorder on throughout this whole sexual experience. Not just so I could listen back to it later, but to make sure like this person was in this for the right reasons.
So you voice record.
Hypothetically.
Do you fuck with a boom mic?
What? No, I had like a phone. Dude,
Do you got one of these? Do you got one of these like hung up over the bed?
Bro, do you know how scary it is to think that one day somebody's gonna be like, I fucked that guy and he did this, and it's like, no, I got that all recording.
Fuck me, daddy.
I got it. And what I used to do too is like I used to make sure that the girl would DM me like 5 times before I responded to her again after the sexual experience. That way, it's like if the court ever came up to me, I'd be like, dude, she literally continuously hit me up after that. There's no way you're ever gonna tell me that I tried to fuck this girl without her wanting to fuck. So.
Your Honor, it says very clear that this thought was thirsty for his deed.
You feel me? Is comedy like that too? Are girls trying to fuck their way through the comedy world? Like open up shows and shit?
I wouldn't limit it to just women. I would say everybody is in some ways aware, like someone who basically has something to offer, let's say their body. In some ways, people would want to leverage that for success. That's true of like men and women, not just men. The entertainment community and like comedy community, yeah, bro. I mean, you're on the road and like you're with another comic and sometimes y'all vibe and it's cool and it's like, yeah, same thing in the music game. It's like, bro, there's also some female producers or there's some female rappers as you mentioned. They'll meet a producer or a rapper that's a dude or some dude that like works in the field in some way and then they vibe and then they're having a good time.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah. But and like in comedy, it's like, yeah, and it vibes. Like, yeah, bro, like obviously what we've heard in the last few years is that there are some comics who are creepy and who have creeped up on some women in a way where they didn't like it. Obviously, the stories are out there, the public knowledge. So obviously that also happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I definitely feel like things are shifting and it's not as many creepy dudes.
Well, the awareness is so heightened that it's like you can't even get away with this shit anymore anyway. So it's a good thing that people were like speaking on it and saying like these things are fucking happening to me. So now like everybody's like not doing it because you're gonna get fucking told on. But it's good. I would rather have that be the case than anything else. Like everybody's not doing it because they're afraid to lose their fucking careers. They took out the top comedians, man. Like literally the top fucking guys were doing it and they all got fucking destroyed. Actually, they're all making comebacks right now, but whatever, fuck it. But it's still prevalent.
Kevin Spacey is free.
Is he?
Bro, this guy got acquitted, I think, of everything.
He had like a crazy ass video talking to like people about what he did, but like, no, the craziest ones was obviously Lewis and Chris D'Elia. That sucked. Actually, Chris D'Elia's wasn't even that bad. I don't know why the fuck he got canceled, but like those two were fucking crazy. Like that sucked ass to see that happen.
I'll say this: any person that gets canceled for some sort of like assault or some sort of like, taking advantage of their power to hurt somebody, and it's like legit and it's non-disputable. It's just like, yeah, bro, that's what happens when you're at the top, bro. You want to play with poison.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're at the top. You have access to anyone you want. You're not used to being told no, And I'm not speaking of just comedy specifically, bro. Just in any industry. When you have that much power, people wild out. People wild out, bro. And so that's why it's important to have God in your heart.
Yeah.
That's why, man, I'm so grateful for like the circle of friends that I have and my parents for raising me the way that they raised me.
Yeah.
I'm not allowing any of that into my heart, bro. I just want to do good and legit. I just want to do good, bro. I just want to, I do shows. After I do shows, bro, I say hi to fans. After I do that, I go to my hotel room. I FaceTime my girl.
Yeah.
See how she's doing. And then I hang up and then I go to this titty bar.
I heard that's a huge thing in the comedy world, man. You guys are just hotel to hotel to hotel. And
To titty bar, yeah.
Titty bar too? You're
Yeah.
allowed to go to the titty bar?
No.
Okay.
I said titty bar earlier. I was like, that's why. I was like, that's why. After the show, I go and FaceTime my girl, and then when I hang up, I go to the titty bar.
Oh, my bad. I missed that part.
Shit.
I was like, because I was actually thinking about your girlfriend for a second when you mentioned her, because she was at the show.
Yeah, she's cool, bro.
She's vibrant as fuck.
I want
man.
her to meet your girl. We might move back to Detroit, bro.
Bro.
I want them to get cool.
Yeah, fuck it, man. I think it'll be. She's not English. She's not fully American, is she?
She's Venezuelan.
Yeah, she had like a cool ass accent, man. She was fucking sweet. She was like telling us like, hold on and wait for you, and we were like waiting. We're like, oh, when's Paul gonna come back outside? But she was so fucking cool, dude. How'd you guys even meet?
Bro, we met on Instagram.
For real?
Yeah, player.
You slid in or she slid in?
Shit.
And
Shit. She liked 4 of my photos in a row at 3 a.m.
oh, you knew what
Yeah,
time
bro.
it was.
Those were you up hours.
Yeah.
And I took that as a sign of interest. Obviously, 4 photos. Come on.
Yeah.
No, actually, it was 4 videos.
Oh.
And then she said, "Oh, it's because the videos were funny." And I'm like, "Ain't nothing funny."
Yeah.
At 3:30, 2. Nothing's funny. You had other things on your mind.
Yeah.
And, she obviously denies them, and I understand that. So I sent her a message, and we've been together for 2 years.
Legendary. You guys have a podcast together?
Yeah, man, but we don't do episodes.
What do you mean?
We got a podcast. We don't film it that much.
Oh, I seen clips of it though.
Yeah, we did a few clips.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
all right.
yeah.
So it's not like out type shit.
Nah, not really, bro. Like, I want to put on any podcast platforms.
You don't.
I'm just lazy.
Do you have Do you have like your own podcast? That you're
Yeah, I had one. I mean,
Do you notice that every comedian like hopped into to the podcast bag? I mean, Joe
yeah,
Rogan
man.
kinda,
Me and Dave Merhej had a podcast, and then we just don't have time, bro.
Is it so? You don't. If you're booked enough, you don't even need to fucking pay attention to the external content, basically.
I definitely want to get back to this podcast with Dave. I love the title, LowKey Immigrants. Yeah, it was cool, man. We had a really fun time. We had some really great episodes, so maybe we'll jump back into it. We'll see.
Yeah. What's the as far as the comedy world right now? What's it looking like in your community? You said you're doing shows with other cats, and you guys are just doing crowd work together, which I see on social media all the time. Talk about some of the guys that you're working with and collaborating with in these live stage performances.
You talking about LowKey?
LowKey?
LowKey Comedy Show?
Is that where you guys are doing that? The 2 guys at the same time?
Yeah. That was me and Matt Rife started that.
Oh yeah. Talk about that. That shit's hilarious.
Oh, thank you, bro. Yeah, man. Me and Matt started the show during the pandemic. So we had a show at the Comedy Store. Pandemic happened, and we couldn't do the show no more. Our show started getting a lot of buzz pre-pandemic because it was such a unique show where it was comics would go up for 5 minutes, and then after they do their set, me and Matt both go on stage and we talked. We have like a improvised interview. So it was basically a comedy show podcast hybrid.
Cool.
So it incorporates traditional stand-up comedy and crowd work, podcast, interview, off the cuff vibes.
What's the runtime on something like that?
90 minutes.
Cool.
90-minute show. We have 4 comics. You know, the real show is me and Matt do 10. After me and Matt do 10, comic does 10, we riff for 5.
Sick.
4 comics, that's 40 minutes. 5 minutes each, that's 50 minutes. Me and Matt go up for 10 minutes, 60 minutes. Usually we run over, get 30-minute buffer. Around
What's 30-minute buffer mean?
like 30 minutes, like, you know, sometimes we'll start the show 10 minutes late.
Oh, okay.
You know, and sometimes we'll add another comic to just come on stage. Sometimes when we riff, we'll riff for 10 minutes instead of 5. So it's like times are extended. Comics will run the light. You know, me and Matt end up doing longer than 10. We end up doing 15, sometimes 20.
Cool, man.
You know, so it's typically a 90-minute show.
How'd you guys build the chemistry that you guys have? I don't think I've ever asked you. How'd you even meet?
We met at the Laugh Factory.
Oh, cool.
He went up. I was new to comedy, and I saw him go up at Chocolate Sundays, one of the most poppin' nights of comedy at the Laugh Factory. And man, he is just killing, bro. This guy's killing. And like, you know, he's like a little kid. He's like, yeah, man, then this one time I did this. I was like, bitch. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
And bro, he's killing, bro. Like, crowd is dying, bro. And this is an all predominantly black audience. Looking at this young white boy with a bandana and a Letterman jacket just destroying, right? So I was just looking at him like, damn, bro, this kid is a monster.
Yeah.
And then so we were outside the Laugh Factory, and then I saw him outside the Laugh Factory, and I was just like, bro, incredible. And then he was like, oh, thanks, man. Matt, nice to meet you. You know? And then we just became cool. And then every time I'd see him at the Laugh Factory, it'd always be like this big embrace. So it was almost like we were like 2 magnets. And we were just like drawn to each other. And then lo and behold, this guy is one of my closest friends. And he's so funny, bro. Like, bro, when we riff, man, we'll just hang out and riff. And we're cracking each other up, bro. Nobody makes me laugh as hard as he does sometimes.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, bro. He'll just kill me, bro. And the thing is, I'll kill him. So like, we're just like hanging out, dying, laughing, having a great time. So we really bonded over that. And then that's what really started the chemistry. Then once we decided to do stand-up together, we were like, oh my God, bro, look what we discovered.
Yeah, because I'm not going to lie. I don't really see anybody doing the duo stand-up thing like that. I might not just be seeing it, but like, did you guys help originate the popularity of that?
It was Jeff Ross and Dave Attell.
Oh, yeah.
They definitely were doing a really cool duo act, and they would bring other comics on stage. Our format is a little different in terms of just it as a complete comedy show. But no, it's the idea of like 2 comics on stage, whether it's 2 dudes, guy, girl, whatever, however you want to mix it, is something that has been done. But we really, I feel, I really branded it in a unique way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, especially because you're creating content out of it and really putting it out there for people. And it's not like bullshit content either as far as like the quality, like the production's at a high quality, the content that you guys clip out exactly like the right fucking moments. The shit's hysterical to see on Instagram, I'm not going to lie. I know I follow a lot of comedians. I don't see too many people doing it. I'm assuming it's not easy to fucking do. I'm assuming it's not easy to riff with another comedian on stage and like do a whole 90-minute show. It can't just be like, you guys randomly got it. Did you guys have to build up to the point where you started nailing it, or was it just instant success?
You'll vibe with certain people. It's like a rapper with a good producer, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just vibe with a producer and you're just like, just going.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is.
Making beats.
Making beats. Yeah. So I'm a producer now.
You make beats?
Now you saw what I did with my leg?
Oh, yeah. We can remix that and put it on the reels. So as far as you guys building the chemistry that just happened over time, but you guys are naturally like clicked. Obviously, do other comedians ever hit you up and like, let me do it with you too? And, like,
yeah, of course.
Do you test it out and see if it works with other people?
Yeah, I've experimented with hosting with different people before.
Yeah.
And Matt, Dave Merhej, Ian Edwards, those are my 3 favorite dudes to riff with.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, they're all very unique. Me and Matt have our own rapport. Me and Dave have our own rapport. Me and Ian have our own rapport. And I'm sure like Matt also, you know, he can riff with other comics too. And same thing with Dave and Ian. So we can all mix and match and riff with different people. But yeah, man, you have to have similar sensibilities. Like there's some times where I've seen people do like the duo host and it does not work. And it doesn't work in some ways where it's like, because two people are doing something completely different than one person. They're not all in sync. You have to all be in sync, and that all has to move like an engine. It needs to link. Everything needs to link, and it needs to be one thing needs to influence the other reaction.
Yeah.
So if it's three people on stage, sometimes very easy, they fall into the trap of, I'm going to try to be the funniest one. I'm going to try to be hilarious. So they're just one person that's just looking to be funny. And then if it's three people just looking to be funny, it's going to not work.
It's like harmony.
It's harmony, bro. One person you need somebody to sort of like be the person that's going to hang back and sort of influence the action. So sometimes if I don't have anything hot to say, if we're riffing with someone, I'll hang back and I'll listen to the conversation with, let's say Matt is hosting, Matt and whoever is having, and then I'll listen and I'm like, all right, I think they got it, and I'll hang back. Because sometimes if I try to jump in and be funny, I like just fucked up something that could have been discovered.
Right.
Right?
It's like everybody chasing the same puck, right? You got to like spread out and take turns and wait for it to come to you.
Yeah, like, and there's also times where it's like sometimes you just hang back and then everyone's talking and then someone's like, hey man, why aren't you talking? And then I'll be like, man, I'm high.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden that's now become the thing. It's like, you've been high this whole time? I'm like, yeah, that's why I've been quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm quiet when I'm high. I'm not loud like you. And then all of a sudden we talk about being loud when we're high or quiet when we're high, as an example, right? So there's always a game. We basically got to find the game to play.
Yeah.
And so there is a lot of math that goes into it.
Yeah. Well, the awareness, right? The synergy, knowing like your time and not your time, back up, pull in, whatever the fuck the case might be. You have to know the balancing act. It's a balancing act between 3 or 2 people.
Well, let me ask you something. When you're interviewing people, is there sometimes you're interviewing somebody and you're like, man, this is a bad interview?
Yeah, a lot.
Okay.
Times. It's crazy how often it happens.
Like, do you ever interview someone and you're asking them questions like, so what's going on? And like, so tell me about your music career or like whatever. And they're just like this.
Pretty much, yeah. It happens all the fucking time. That just happened like 2 weeks ago where this guy was begging to get on my podcast and he got on and he was like, yeah, tape drops tomorrow, bro. I don't know what to tell you. I'm like, all right.
Tape drops tomorrow. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, the dynamic...
Is that the name of the album?
The dynamic is a little bit different. You know why? First of all, see, you're not... If you understood my life, it would make more sense. A lot of people hate me.
Hate you?
A lot of rappers hate me, but they know that they get a lot of exposure by coming on the podcast.
Why would they hate you?
They just do.
What do you do that's so hateful?
Well, I'm Chaldean in a primarily black-dominated hip-hop community culture, and in Detroit. So it's like a very much like, yo, we already don't have a lot, and you're taking it and you're doing something with it. And it's like, the people freak the fuck out. That's its own argument. But what happens is a lot of times people will come to do an interview that really have spite towards me, and so when they're sitting there, it's not even that they're trying to be cool. It's almost like, I fucking hate this guy, but I got to do this interview.
But that's so fucked up.
It's just part of the game. I've had people tell me that. I had a guy... I can talk about it a little bit, but there's a very famous rapper that admitted to hating me last week. But after he met me, he was like, man, after I actually got to talk to you, you're like a legend, bro. And I was like, thanks, man. Thanks for fucking the past 2 years hating me for not knowing me. And then he was like, bro, you're like, I love you. And I was like, oh, shit, thanks, man. And I got the fuck out. But he admitted, like, even when he did my podcast, he's like, I wasn't fucking with you.
But why wasn't he fucking with you? Because you're a Chaldean?
When you're outside of the black community, the culture, the hip hop culture, and all that stuff, you're not from the city direct. And if you didn't grow up in the struggle, there's a animosity towards people who are successful in the industry because it's like you didn't grow up with what we had to grow up through. This is our only way of success is out through basketball and hip hop and whatever in their minds. And then when somebody else is coming and taking it and doing something with it and becoming successful with it, it's almost like, fuck this guy. Like, and I don't blame motherfuckers because I would be pissed too, but if you know my intentions, it would make you not pissed anymore.
That's what I was going to say, bro, because if anything, you're putting rappers on. You're basically giving them a platform where you can talk to them.
It's such a...
I see you have the camera on your artist way more than you have it on you.
Yeah, and that's advice I would give to podcasters that are trying to... Because a lot of people try to start doing interviews and stuff like that. They make themselves the fucking highlight when it's supposed to be the guest that's the highlight.
Bro,
You know?
and that basically was the secret sauce to LowKey. If I'm trying to make myself a star, Matt's trying to make himself the star, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like, we're both trying to alley-oop each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when we riff with each other. And it's like, there are some times where it's like, let's say I'm ball hogging, which I do. I admit I do that a lot. Basically ball hogging within the... Comedically ball hogging. I'll do that. And if I'm doing well, it's like cool. But if I'm like ball hogging and it's like not going well, it's just sort of like, I'll feel it and I'm like, all right, I got to hang back because I'm bombing right now.
It must make it easier too. I just thought about that. If a singular comedian is on a stage and he's bombing, he doesn't have somebody to be like, yo, tag team and fucking come in here and switch spots like Mortal Kombat. Like, you're just stuck on there. But if you have somebody to riff with when you're not doing well, doesn't it make the show way easier to be like, keep going back and forth? Or is there a time where you're like both bombing because one person's just fucking it up for everybody?
Well, there's basically a few ways to get out of that situation.
Okay.
So there's never a time where we're on stage and we don't know what to do.
Whoa.
We always know what to do. There's always, and the thing is always the same. It's just tell the truth. There's been times where me and Matt have been like, the crowd's not on board and we're quiet and then Matt's like, should we just leave? And then the crowd starts to just burst because they're like, all right, let's acknowledge the truth. And then we just talk about, and then I would like comment also about how they act like they don't want to be there. And now that's the game that we're playing. We're playing the fact that y'all are so bad.
That's brilliant, dude.
You know what I mean? So it's like there's always a way to make something funny. I don't believe that you're in a trap and you can't, unless something racist is said, unless people are walking out because you said something insane and wild.
Yeah.
And even then, bro, I don't know. Maybe there's a way to like turn it around. But
How common are outbursts for you guys
what do you mean?
from like the audience?
Often, yeah. I mean, people, bro, on my comedy special, I got heckled like I got booed on my special taping, bro.
Really?
Yes.
Not the one I was at, right?
Not the one you were at.
What happened?
I have this joke where I talk about how I don't speak Arabic and I don't speak Sudith.
Yeah.
Sudith is a language of the Assyrians, which is a language that Chaldeans speak. Sudith, right?
Yeah.
I don't speak Sudith. I don't speak Arabic. But I mentioned that I don't speak Arabic. And then these people started to boo me.
That's wild.
They started to boo me because I don't speak Arabic. And then I was like, so y'all just going to boo me out my special taping?
Yeah.
And then I said, do you know how hard it is to speak a language you can't speak?
Yeah.
Try it.
Did you kick him out or did you? Because it's a special taping.
No, man, I can't kick him out, bro. I mean, they said some shit. I just got to like address it, keep it moving.
Dude, they gave us like a crazy warning before, like, chill the fuck out. I was like, oh shit, yeah, right. Like,
Yeah, bro. I mean, bro, the thing is, we had cameras there, and
you
literally,
can't fuck around, man.
they were like, the first two comics were up, and they're like, all right, guys, so listen, there's cameras here. Please do not heckle. And then one dude in the front was like, well, what if I got to ask something?
Yeah.
And then he goes, you can't ask anything. And then he was like, man, this is dumb.
Do you keep any of your crowd work in your specials?
No, I'm going to put out my own separate crowd work special.
Oh, okay.
And my crowd work special is just going to be a lot of characters. I'm thinking about putting out a few different types of specials, bro. I want to put out a special where I don't speak at all. I want to do a silent performance. I just want to see if I can pull it off.
It's impossible.
Is it?
Yeah, man. You'd be a mime at that point. Mimes suck ass. There's a reason
Do
they went
they?
out of business. And I've never seen a mime, dude. Not even at the zoo or at the fucking circus.
I don't
Actually,
think.
yeah, they're at the circus, but
Yeah, mimes don't pull up at the zoo.
yeah.
What? There's like the polar bears,
The circus I
the
mentioned.
zebras,
Yeah. Dude,
mimes.
Have you ever read the Comedy Toolbox?
Nah.
It's this fucking book, man. It's like the most sought out book for comedians. And like there's an interesting conversation in it that talks about the balancing act between, like you said, comedy is truth and pain, right? At the end of the day, that's the combination of what makes a joke. But he basically says comedy is truth and pain, and you have to learn how to balance real world with the straight man. So you just keep going back and forth between the straight man and the imaginative world. Like, for instance, if you're a straight guy that's just like working all day, the fake world or imaginary world situation is that his boss is a fucking dick and is ready to kill his employees at any time. So it's like that's like the balancing act of comedy.
Yeah, and in terms of definitely there needs to be some like relatability to like, this person, the straight man, right? Which is every person that probably has his own relationship with their boss or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I mean, you find different ways to relate,
Yeah.
All my jokes that I'll do, I'll basically go through and I'll be like, all right, who's this for? What is this about? And is this important to me? As three of some of the main questions I ask myself,
Yeah.
and is it true? And if it the more boxes it checks off, the better it is.
Do you think comedians like lying in their sets, even if it makes a joke funny, do you have like a problem with that? Or is it just like, all right, it's just part of their bit, like even if it's not a true story?
It depends.
Really?
It depends, yeah. I have to hear the joke, because it's hard to like put this whole concept on trial. I need to hear the specifics.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if someone is changing the name of someone to protect them, or saying things out of order in order to like tell this certain story, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with like changing timeline or whatever based on the story. People do it in movies all the time. I think with stand-up, I think there is some grace that should be given. I also think that you should tell the truth. I don't think you should be like, man, it was so hard growing up Filipino. And it's like, what are you? And it's like, I'm white, actually.
Yeah.
I don't think you should be like, man, it's hard growing up poor. Did you grow up poor? No. It's like, man, my brother said this. Do you have a brother? Nah. Like, those are like big lies.
So there is a sacredity to having integrity as a comedian as far as your history is concerned to some degree. Like a majority of it, like you feel like should be real life to some degree. Like your experiences, or at least having perception from somebody else's life.
Huh?
I'm saying like motherfuckers like making up stories about their past bothers you, and you do think that, just like the rap game, people don't want to hear you rap about something you didn't experience.
Oh, right.
So are you saying that in the comedy world it's similar, that like people want to hear your true life stories?
I think I've listened to a decent amount of hip hop to where you can just tell when someone's telling the truth. You can just hear the lyric and be like, yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
Like, to all the teachers who told me I never amount to nothing, to all the people who called the police on me in front of the buildings I was hustling on just because I was trying to make some money to feed my daughter.
Yeah.
I believe that. Also, I believe it because it's such a long sentence.
Yeah.
Ain't no one lying with a sentence that long. You're giving way too many details.
Right.
I believe it's not like Biggie, did that happen? And goes, all right, well, technically it wasn't buildings.
Yeah.
It was a school. I was at a school, and they weren't people living there, and it wasn't feeding my daughter. I didn't have any kids yet.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, you saying way too long of a sentence. He gave a lot of information. Trying to hustle business off, trying to feed my daughter. And then they kept yelling at me, and I kept telling them, hey, stop yelling at me. Then they called the police the fourth time, and then after the fifth time they called the police, then we got real. You know what I mean? There's too much facts.
Yeah.
So I believe Biggie, and believe all Biggies.
I do believe Biggie.
Yeah. So I would say there's some people that will say a joke, and you can kind of tell and be like, I don't believe that. I think it's because I've listened to so much comedy, and I like listen to a lot of like, you know, as I mentioned, like I'll listen to music, and you can kind of hear something and tell. You can tell when they really mean it, like, oh, that probably really happened.
That's crazy.
Like I listen to some songs where motherfuckers are just saying some crazy shit. Like Eminem, bro, he's telling the truth.
Yeah.
Eminem will play a voicemail from Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
It's not like, Eminem, was that Mariah? He's like, no, that's AI. Eminem does not fuck with
that's
AI.
That's why you know who Bert Kreischer is?
Of course.
He's hilarious. I mean, okay, let me stop lying. But Bert Kreischer did a podcast with Bobby Lee one time, and it really pissed me off because I was like super into his podcast, like Two Bears, One Cave with Tom Segura. And he was talking to Bobby Lee on a podcast one time, and he was like, Bobby Lee's like, not all your stories are true. He's like, yeah, who cares? And I was like, no, dude, I'm watching your fucking podcast to hear your stories and your perspectives on stuff. I don't want to hear that you just fucking said that podcasts have people lying in it. And that also goes with comedy too. Like if I figured out a comedian was lying about his stories, I'd be like, this fucking sucks. Like, I don't know. It's either perspective or your true past. That's like the two things that gravitate me towards a comedian. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, there is some bending of facts.
Yeah, I'm not saying you have to be fucking spot on. You obviously have to make this joke funnier than what the fuck really happened. You obviously have to like point out things that maybe like accentuate things, like, you know what I'm saying? But I don't like making up fucking stories, and that's basically what they said they were doing. I was like, I'm not listening to a podcast and hearing you guys lie about shit. That's gay. Like that's not what I'm about, man. I don't know. It's just my perspective on shit. It's fucking whack.
No, I agree, man. You know, the truth is becoming more and more important in art.
Are you following the Palestinian marches are happening all around the city?
Yeah, man. I'm trying to go to one.
Yeah, they're crazy. I've been to like 3 of them. There's like a fight broke out. This guy got arrested. This other guy got arrested. It's fucking crazy.
Is there one tomorrow?
There was one yesterday. I was supposed to go. It was Christmas. I was gonna go, man.
Bro, people in the Chaldean community, they're not really standing up for Palestine.
You don't think?
Am I wrong?
I don't follow any Chaldean, so I wouldn't know right now.
Are you like, what's your take on the Chaldean community?
Are you trying to get me canceled from the Chaldean community? Is that the plot? Listen, man, the guys, what do they do, right? They open up liquor stores and gas stations and jewelry stores and sell weed. I mean, what the fuck are we talking about here? And there's some guys who stand out, you know, they're stand-up dudes that do, you know, due diligence and provide for the community and give opportunities for their fellow man. But other than that, what the fuck are we talking about? Like, we're selling weed and vapes and patrol. Liam.
Yeah, I kind of was hoping that there would be more of a stance from the Chaldean community in support of the Chaldean community from Palestine. The thing is, I don't know. Like, I could be wrong. Maybe they are, but I'm just not seeing a whole lot of it.
Yeah. I don't know. It's its own. Well, first of all humanity, right, at the end of the day, should be supporting what's happening in Palestine. It's obviously even more hurtful that, you know, culture that's so close to another culture is being supportive and whatnot. I think people are just numb. That's what happened. I think, unfortunately, because we've been on social media for so long, that we just all became numb to the point where now the craziest shit in the world's happening, and we're like, we're already fucking done, bro. Like, we're tapped out. We're not even feeling what's happening across the world right now. You remember when 9/11 happened? We all went nuts. We're all, even like if you're 10 years old, 12 years old, you're like, what the fuck what the fuck's happening? I guess that's here, so it's kind of different. But even the Iraqi war, when we fucking invaded Iraq, I felt that shit. I was like, this is fucked up. This is fucking garbage. But now with the Palestinian thing, I think we're so fucking numb to tragedies just constantly happening. It's almost like your body doesn't even react to it anymore. Am I tripping, or is anybody else?
I think you could be tripping. The only reason why I say that is because, bro, I've never seen this much support. Like this is like, you know, like George Floyd, obviously, like when he was murdered, there was so much for him, you know, and like there wasn't that much, you know, in terms of like Diallo, you know, who was shot. I believe it was in New York in his vestibule. Forgive me if I'm saying his first name wrong. Amadou Diallo or Diallo. Amadou Diallo. Same thing with like, you know, Mike Brown. I mean, there was obviously a lot of outrage for the slaying of these people. But then when George Floyd happened, it was sort of like people were like, this is never going to happen again. And you can tell by that stance. They're like, this is never going to happen again. We're all going to show up. Everybody's showing up. Hundreds of thousands of people. I look at the Palestinian marches in support of Palestine, people that are trying to encourage a ceasefire, that are anti-genocide, that are willing to call it what it is, an occupation. Man, I mean, over 1 million people in Yemen, bro. Like 300,000 people in New York. Hundreds of thousands of people that are Jewish. Jewish Voice for Peace. Grand Central Station shutting it down. So this is incredible, bro.
Oh, shit.
It's incredible, man, that people are able to like hold hand in hand and be like, we have to stop. We have to do something. So I think the numbness, maybe like us, because we're Middle Eastern, like there's so much tragedy and we're like, oh my God, how many dead children are we going to look at right now on social media? And then there's part of us that's just like, man. And then it's easy to just be like, bro, I got to just play Mario Kart.
Well, you know what I was thinking about when I'm saying numbness is that I'm not even just talking about Chaldeans or whatever. I'm talking about everybody, because even if you are saying that, I mean, I've been to a few of these rallies and protests and everything like that. It's not that many people that you would expect there, and it's all the same ethnicities, really. The thing that trips me out and why I say the numbness is, if a country is basically, like they say, an open air prison for as long as it's been, and it's under brutal attack right now, how the hell aren't millions of people standing up? How the hell is Starbucks not out of business right now? Like, all these things, because if it was so...
They're hurt, though. Starbucks is hurt.
They got hurt?
They got hurt hard.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, think about the fact that if this is happening, you would feel it on a greater, like, magnitude. That's all I'm saying. Because it should be every single fucking person in America like, yo, what the fuck is going on over there? It's basically the Holocaust.
Yeah, man. And it's just sad, bro. It's like literally I'm watching Fox News, and then this guy's talking about how he's questioning all the dead Palestinians. He goes, you see what they do is they put them in white bags, and then they take a photograph, and then they get out of the white bag.
Oh, my God.
And then he's like, so I don't know how many of them are actually really dead. And then I'm like, wow, this guy is questioning the amount of dead Palestinians. Why? Because there were some videos that people are posting of people in white bags and getting out of them, which have been proven to be fake.
Yeah.
There's all these fake videos.
And that's another problem, is that there's so many different news stories that nobody knows what the fuck the truth is. I just don't like the people that are like not paying attention to it at all, or like to the point where they're like, I don't give a fuck, or just not really responding to it within. Like,
Yeah, man.
that's a scary time. It's a scary time we're living in.
I think it's a lot of people in our community, bro. I think it's a lot of people.
You think the Chaldean community?
Yeah.
I mean, they could, man. Chaldean community is just fucking. I just don't remember any tight times, bro. That's all I can say about the Chaldean. I don't remember any tight times. And I know they if they ever hear this interview, they're gonna be like, "Fuck you," but.
Hey, bro, look, man, I would say this. Sorry to cut you off, bro.
You're good.
If they're going to want to say, fuck you, it's like, hey, man, you down to have a conversation?
Yeah.
Let's just have a conversation. And it's like, hey, so what do you stand for? Like, this is a conversation between you and me. And it's like, clearly, I think the issue is that Chaldeans, like our culture, they were so pushed and motivated by money to make money because our parents came here with so much of a struggle. And I feel like it had eventually just led to like lack of like culture, like, you know, now I'm going to say cultural appreciation, because I think we do have culture appreciation, but I feel like it became like they don't, in terms of their empathy for other people, it's just not as much. It's like they sort of care about themselves more.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a lot of like racism. Like they look at different race of people a certain way, you know, which is not, I'm not saying it's synonymous with our culture. I think it's with a lot of Middle Eastern culture. I think it's with every culture there's some sort of racism, but, you know, the Chaldean community, obviously I love my community. I want to help my community. I want to heal my community. And I want to be honest with my community. If they're being flagrant and it's like, hey, man, how come we're being this way? You got to say something.
That's facts. I mean, it's a very hard to. The money is just the power for them. That's why it doesn't matter. Once they have money, once they have power and respect, they don't really give a fuck. And the money is what makes them feel like they have the power and the respect. Man, it sucks. I'm not gonna lie, bro. It's hard for me to talk about Chaldeans. It's really, really hard. It's just too much of a. It's just too much of like, it's my culture, but at the same time, what the fuck, man? Like, I can't really expand on it too much. Especially because my aunt is literally the president of the Iraqi Chaldean Museum in West Bloomfield. So,
well, look, bro, it's the thing is, bro, if you have something to say, it's okay. Like, I'm not trying to critique my culture to put them down in any way, but I will just bring up a question, and I would say, like, you know, the question I've had for years is, how come Chaldeans don't admit that they're Assyrian? And it was always confusing to me. I was like, I don't understand, because ethnically we are Assyrian, but we are Chaldean Assyrian. And I never heard the word Assyrian growing up. Did you?
not really.
Did anyone ever tell you you're actually ethnically Assyrian? Probably nobody. You were like Chaldeans in ethnic background. I was the same way. And then I started speaking to some scholars, and they're like, no, it's actually not. And here's the facts. And I looked at the facts. I'm like, wow. And then I talked to other Assyrians. Like, yeah, we know this. And they're like, Chaldeans are the only people that are within our community that say they're Chaldean. They basically want to separate from the Assyrians.
Yes.
But we're actually these same people, came from the same tribe. And then a group of Assyrians broke off, and they're like, hey, we want our own church. So the Pope was like, cool, you guys are the Chaldean church. And then these Assyrians basically started to wash Assyrian from their identity and started to say, we're Chaldean. And these are mostly Chaldeans from Detroit. So I would ask these questions. I'm like, hey, are we Assyrian? And then people are like, basically, they're like, hey, man, no, shut the fuck up. I'm like, well, I'm just asking a question. Like, we're Assyrian because all these other people are saying we're Assyrian. This book is saying we're Assyrian. This scholar of studies is saying we're Assyrian. It seems like we're Assyrian, right? They're like, no. And then I'm like, okay, then there's other Chaldeans I talked to, like, yeah, I am Assyrian. And they admit that they are. So I was like, how come we're not on the same page here?
Yeah, what is that?
About such a basic, simple idea. You know what I'm saying?
What's the response to when you confront people with that?
I had usually the people who I posted a video on a page, and it got a lot of attention where I mentioned that Chaldeans are Catholic Assyrians from Iraq. And most people were saying, thank you for saying this. Wow, I can't believe a Chaldean made he's Assyrian. This is so huge. So I got a lot of love, and people were saying, thank you for saying this. Thank you for saying this. And then there's some people who would respond and basically critique me and say, no, we're not. You're wrong. But also I noticed the people that would say I'm wrong spelled almost every other word wrong. So they got bad grammar.
Yeah. So they're voters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One guy was like, you not know for what it is to hell you're talking.
Yeah. Well, have you ever tried to talk to like a boater, and if people don't know what a boater is, it's just like a person from another country that's like really stuck and hardwired in their ways of thinking, and it's really, really hard to change them, and their like conscious level of comprehension is very limited, unfortunately. It's like impossible to change their minds about fucking anything. It's like damn near, and it's like almost a waste of time. It's better off just waiting for this generation to die off than to try to convince them of something.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've had a lot of like, hard conversations with my family about certain things. Some relatives of mine who are very set in their ways, and I wish them well. I don't judge them for what they don't know. Sometimes it's hard. Like, I literally had an uncle who's like, as an example, I say soda instead of pop. I'm not proud of that, but I've been saying soda a lot.
It's fucked up.
And I fucked up.
Yeah, that's not cool.
So I went up to this gas station and saw this guy. He looked like a Chaldean guy. And I was like, yo, what's up, bro? And then he's like, what's up, boss? Anything else? I put a Pepsi on the counter, and I was like, oh, no, just a soda. Then he goes, huh, you must be a Democrat. So I thought that was a wild assumption because he's so stuck in his ways. He goes, if something is different, like soda, oh, that's what they say in the West Coast. Oh.
Yeah.
I went to my uncle's house once, and I was like, Amo, do you ever cycling? He goes, yeah, when did you become a gay? And I was like, just because I want to save the environment?
Yeah.
And then his boy was like, just because I want to save the environment, that's what gays people say.
Yeah.
Gay people always trying to save the environment. And I'm like, bro, I can want to save the environment without being gay.
Literally.
Plenty of straight people recycle as well.
Their brains are hardwired to the point where it's almost like somebody telling you your name's not Paul. You know what I mean? Like, that's how deep it is. It's like, I'm never going to be able to convince you that, right? Anything that they've already grown up knowing, you're not going to change their fucking mind about. Have you ever heard a person from Iraq move to this country and apologize for anything?
No, bro. But, like, I used to talk about this in my stand-up, like, the ignorance, basically. Like, I have another one of my uncles. He goes, Obama and Osama are brothers.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Like, what they think is, obviously... in so many ways, I can just like in a simple Google search. Well, bro, I literally had a conversation with one of my cousins, bro, and he was talking about different religions, and then I was like, well, Islam, Judaism, and Catholicism, they're all a part of the Abrahamic faiths, and he goes, no, they're not. They're not a part of an Abrahamic faith. No, bro, Islam is not associated with Christianity or Catholicism. I was like, no, it is. Like, they're part of the Abrahamic faiths. They're the faiths that came from Abraham. You can look it up and find out. And he goes, no. So I showed him a screenshot of it. Then he looked at it and he goes, wow, bro. So what'd you Photoshop?
My God.
So I sent him the link. I was like, just click it. And he goes, nah, I'm good, bro. And I'm like, oh, this person is not even wanting to click a link to look?
Dude, even if you give them the link, they won't. It's like the news didn't have their facts straight. This fucking author doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. That doctor and doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Like, they'll never accept truth or what's been documented.
Bro, my aunt refused to go to the hospital because she goes, that's where people die. They kill people there.
Bro. Yeah, it's the same. Like your family sounds literally verbatim like my family. It's like the same exact culture. They just, like, again, just super, super hardwired human beings. And honestly, the trippy part about them is, the best things they have going for them is they keep their family very close. Like, they make the family or community, and that they really do work their asses off. That's like the two biggest things you can say about them. But then there's like these other parts you wish you just never knew about. It's like, you really think this shit? Like, this is really in your mind? And again, like the conflicts of history. Like, one of my uncles is all Saddam. He was totally for Saddam the entire way through.
Yeah, a lot of my family too.
He was,
bro. Saddam, in a lot of ways, bro, kept, or like the things they looked at it, Saddam kept Iraq safe.
Right.
He protected the Christians.
Yeah.
He also was cared a lot about Iraq, and they say that and then like people would be like, sure, he killed people, but he killed people who were fucking with the government.
Right.
And then they were like, But doesn't America kill people?
Yeah.
Don't they have the death penalty and other things? Don't they kill people who are bad?
That's what tripped me out. I had one uncle that was saying how much he loved Saddam, right? And then I talked to my other uncle, and my other uncle was like, yeah, we were against the rebellion to Saddam because he killed a bunch of my cousin's friends. And then he started killing my friends, and then I just fucking moved to the United States. So it's like two completely different stories. One uncle's saying how great he was, and then one's like, yeah, he murdered all my friends. And it's like, shit, like, what the fuck story do you listen to? So
I feel like the one who likes Saddam would listen to that story and be like, well, what'd your friends do?
yeah, that's what he did. He's like, he was against them, so of course he killed your friends. He was a rebellion. He was a rebel. So it's like, what the fuck? I don't know, man. It is sucky. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Look, I'm not gonna have kids, and I'm not gonna have a family because
100% you're not?
Yeah, because what I decided is let this fucking tree, this family tree here, just fucking go, bro. Like, let's just fucking the genetics, the fucking whatever. Because in my
Kid?
I sincerely believe
You don't want a kid?
No, hell no.
Kid ain't getting no kid.
I believe that our genetics.
You took a kid L.
Yeah, fat taking a loss, minus. I think that our genetics go back to our ancestors. I don't think they just stop with your grandparents or your parents or anything. I think they go far, far, far back. And whatever you inherited genetically is from serious amounts of ancestry, right? So it's like, let's get rid of that shit. Bro, I already feel like there's all the thoughts that I have. I'm like, dude, I don't think that way. Why the fuck am I thinking about that shit? Why am I thinking about money like this? Or why am I thinking about this person like this? It's not just because of how I grew up. It's literally genetics in the fucking system from my past boater ass fucking uncles and aunties and then grandparents and all that shit. Let's just get rid of it, bro. Why not just fucking end the saga right here? This is a good way to end the saga. This guy was on a fucking podcast. Then he died.
Yeah.
And then he didn't have any kids. I don't know.
What a great bio. Man, this guy lived, he had a podcast.
He died.
And
yeah. Wait, you're having kids?
yeah.
See, man.
I want to have 4 kids, bro.
Why 4?
I don't know, I just want to have a bunch of kids. I just want to play around with them and fucking like hide their food. And then them be like, where's my food? I'm like, you gotta find it. And then just see how they survive. What is that? Is that child abuse? No, I'm kidding. I don't want to hide their food, but I want to have fun, man. I want to like have some kids, bro, and chill out. And
You're getting married anytime soon?
man, pray for me, bro. Inshallah, man.
Okay.
We able to make it happen.
You
we'll
proposed?
See. I will. I
Oh,
will.
my bad. I thought you said I thought you were saying
No,
you did.
not yet.
Okay.
But the thing is, bro, my girl keeps sending me She wants me to propose.
Oh, man.
Because she keeps sending me proposal videos. And the proposal videos she showed me once was one guy at Somerset Mall, and he hired a flash mob to dance. Now, the girl didn't know, that he's proposed to, didn't know that the flash mob was for her. She just thought she was watching some flash mob dance. So she's sitting there watching this dance. And they start dancing. And the first minute, she's like, oh, this is cool. So they start dancing for 6 more minutes. And 6 minutes of watching a flash mob not impressively dance.
Yeah.
And these are like 50-year-old, like 3rd grade teacher built bitches. And they're dancing. And she's watching them. And thing is, like, they're like off. Like one woman was like taking a call during the middle of the dance. And then like 2 people just like walked away from the dance.
Yeah.
So like it was a weak flash mob. And then the girl's just sitting there like this the whole time, like she doesn't know what to do. Yeah. And then the guy shows up, and Somerset Mall is 4 floors, right? Yeah. So he's on the 4th floor and he waves at her. And then the flash mob basically did something where they pointed at the guy. And then the guy waved like this. And the girl's like, she started to cry. Guess what?
Yeah.
He has to go down all those steps.
My God.
It took him 10 minutes to walk down. Then he had to walk all the way down. Now she's just like this, just wasting footage. And the flash mob doesn't know what to do. So the flash mob, one guy was like, let's build a tunnel.
Oh, my God.
So they basically did their hands like this, leading up to her. And they were doing this, and the guy's like waiting. And the thing is, bro, the guy's like stuck on the escalator. Now the escalator's not working. So he had to take the stairs. And the elevator's taking a while. So then this guy had to eventually get down. And then he ran through in the flash mob. They're holding their hands, and like one guy's like doing this because his arm is sore.
Yeah.
And then he ran through, proposed to her. And I thought she was going to say no. Based on how long it took. If I was her, I'd be like,
it's too much.
Dance was whack. You're on the 4th floor. You way too high. You didn't think this out. How you gonna plan our our IRS fund. How you gonna play? How you gonna play this life when you fucked up? Also, I told this to my dad. I was like, Dad, this guy hired a flash mob. And Dad's like, see, the thing is, he should have proposed to her father. You have to ask the father. The dance should have been for the father.
Oh my God, dude.
So imagine like her dad's there, then her dad's like.
But that concept's hilarious too, that you just graded a proposal. Like if you were a woman, you would literally grade your husband's proposal and be like, I'm rejecting you based on how good or bad your proposal is to me.
Yeah, bro. I mean, look, I thought that was extravagant, obviously, and it was like a lot. And it was sweet in some ways, obviously. And it's like, oh, this guy basically wanted to do something special for his girl. I'm so for that. But then the extravagance of it and basically the the dance of it, I had some critiques. Oh, yeah, I can still clown a proposal.
That's hilarious.
I can clown a proposal.
Facts.
Yeah.
My friend, this is straight up true. I can call my friend Wassam right now who confirms the story. My friend Wassam, when I used to shoot wedding videos, called me and he's like, yo, I want to propose to my girlfriend. I said, all right, how do you want to do it? He's like, all right, I want you to like hide with a camera by that pond by our house. I said, all right. He's like, I'm going to kidnap my girlfriend, throw her in a truck, tie her up, bring her there, untie her, and then propose to her on a blanket. And I was trying to convince this guy for like 10 minutes, like, this is a fucking terrible idea.
What was the idea?
He literally wanted to kidnap his girlfriend and then bring her to this pond by their house that they used to hang out at and propose to her, like get her out of the car.
But why kidnap her?
I don't know. I told him, I was like, Wassam, I was like, look, man, I was like, a girl likes delicate, like, fluffy, romantic vibes. They don't like hostility before.
I don't know any woman who likes kidnapping.
His response to me when I told him that, he's like, bro, everybody's different, bro. I was like, what the fuck kind of response is that? I didn't end up filming it. Me and Nick used to film proposals.
Did he end up kidnapping her for real?
I never asked him. I mean, I was supposed to play basketball with him a couple weeks ago, but I didn't see him. But me and Nick used to shoot proposal videos all the time. Like it's crazy. Like people are fucking excited. They get in front of the camera in the wrong way. You ever see the video of the couple that's proposing at Disneyland and then one of the Disneyland employees comes in during the proposal and stops the proposal?
Why?
Because they're standing on a platform that was like restricted area that they asked to use and they were allowed to, but the employee didn't know about it. So he comes up on the stage and he takes the fucking wedding ring away from the guy that's proposing, and like he's like, nope, you're not proposing here. I think Disneyland ended up paying for his entire like wedding and all that stuff after that incident had happened.
Oh wow! So I bet you he paid that employee like, hey man, good shit. Thanks for stopping that, player.
That's fucking neat. And then there's that dude who rented out a movie theater for his girlfriend, and they were watching like.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
So my girl basically wants me to do that. Like she sent me a proposal video of like some woman on a ship, and she's in the front of the ship, and then all of a sudden you see this camera angle of like this drone like this in front of her. Then she's like looking around, and then all of a sudden you hear like, I think I'm gonna marry you.
Oh my god.
That song by Bruno Mars, and then that song starts playing. And she's like looking around, and then her husband, a helicopter, comes down, and her husband's like this, and he's like, I think I want to marry you. Like right on cue. And then out of nowhere on jet skis are violinists, and they're like, and they're like, but the thing is, it's high tide, so things they're like fucking doing like tricks and shit.
Wait,
like
was this happening, or is this what she wanted?
Bro, she showed me this video, and then the guy like goes down, and then he does this, and then this little parachute of this ring comes down. It's like, and he grabs it, and he's like, babe, you are my rock. And here's the rock. Gets down. And then I'm like, and I tell my girl, and I'm like, babe, there is no way I'm going to hire no instrument players and also a ship. Yeah. I'm like, either I propose to you on land.
Yeah.
Or you just it ain't gonna happen, bro.
You just to pull up to the jazz club and just get lucky that you propose at the right time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro. Why do I gotta hire James Cameron to direct this? And then this video is like shot in like 4K, and it's fucking. And then fucking Brad Pitt shows up. And
that's all. The
dude shows up, and he's riding Aquaman.
Have you ever been to an Indian wedding? That's literally what they are. You know, Indian weddings are like 4 to 5 day weeks. Like it's a whole day. Like people fly in from out of country to come to the wedding, and it's literally like horses, elephants, crazy ass shit happening the whole fucking time. You're just like, what the fuck is this right now? Like they go all out. They spend like 200 to 300 G's minimum on their weddings.
Yeah, bro. I don't want to spend that much money on this proposal. Like, I ain't trying to hire
My cousin proposed to his girlfriend with a pearl ring outside of a Kroger's parking lot. And she said, yeah, but they ended up breaking up after that. I think it matters, dude. I think the way you propose, and I'm not going to lie, the cost of the ring possibly does matter. I used to not be like, who gives a fuck how much it costs? But I think it is like it's a way of saying like, this is how much I had in my bank account. And like, it's in this wedding ring now.
Yeah, I mean, but there's lab diamonds now.
Oh, yeah. It's fucking up the game.
Yeah, bro. My boy bought his girl a lab diamond.
Yeah.
And I didn't know about him. I was like, what are lab diamonds? He goes, bro, it's like the same look and feel of a real diamond, but it's like a fraction of the cost. But it's not a real diamond. But it looks, feels, everything's the same. And I'm like, dog, that's like an impossible meat diamond. I was like, player, you about to propose with a Beyond ring? And she's happy with it, bro.
She was happy with that?
Yeah, bro. He also said, he goes, she's happy with it because she's like, that way no one is getting hurt. Because, you know, the way they make real diamonds, bro, the way they mine them is very cruel. It's very cruel.
The blood diamonds.
Yeah, bro. It's very cruel, bro. And also, you know, I also don't like that shit. But then on the other hand, someone says that's what broke people say. Now you want to be self-righteous? Because you ain't got it like that.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I tell my girl, like, hey, man, what about the people that are hurt? And she goes, but you just don't want to spend extra $5,000.
Do you see?
I'm like, that too?
If your girlfriend proposed to you, would you be pissed off?
Yeah.
I'd be mad too.
Yeah.
That's just something you're not supposed to do.
I'd say no.
You'd say no?
Yeah.
But if friends and everybody's there, though. Family, friends, everybody.
If everybody's there, is there a jet ski violinist? Is there a motherfucking parachutist?
No, it's just it's like Kona Girl. It's like literally a Kona Girl. And she's like,
Oh, so she ain't gonna take me to Capitol.
Nah. I mean, that just happened. The guy got proposed to like a few days ago by his girlfriend. It was on TikTok. And I was just sitting there like, man, it's not fair.
Nah, man. I would like to, regardless of what society says in terms of just, which I embrace in some ways, I do feel like having the male patriarch ask the woman for her hand, basically, at least in our culture, there's a sign of respect, but also I need to talk to her parents first. You know, let her parents know, let her brothers know, her family know, like, listen, you know, do I have your permission to do this? Like, in Iraq, how my mom and dad met was my mom said she was at a party, and then my dad's mom went up to my mom and was like, excuse me, that's my son, and he actually wants to marry you. And my mom looked over at my dad, and my dad was like, just acting hella light skin back in Baghdad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then my mom said was that at one point my dad was like, ha. You know? And then she was like, so that's his game. So his game was he started like leaning like this.
Yeah.
And then he was like, ugh. He started playing with Baghdad, like, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then my mom was like, sure. So that's how my dad picked her up.
Damn. That's sly. That's pretty sly, man.
Yeah, it was. That was the game
man.
back then.
Boaters doing fucking pickup game. Man, imagine fucking parents literally actually hitting on each other. That's a weird thing. Because do your parents, like, are they sweet to each other?
No.
Yeah, so like, what the fuck, man? Ugh, man, I can't even imagine them being sweet to each other. It's like, when you watch American movies, it's almost like, whoa, is that real? Like, the wife is nice to the husband's nice to the wife. They love each other. Like, when you're growing up in a Middle Eastern household, I don't know, man. Most people don't got it like that. It's almost like a brother and sister living together when you watch how they act.
Yeah, I just don't see the dad coming home from work and then the kids running up like, Daddy! And he's like, oh, hey, kids. He hugs. And then the wife's like, takes the jacket and they kiss like, mwah. And then they give like a big kiss. And then he sits down and food's ready. Bro, my dad will come, and then we'd run up to my dad, like, Daddy. But the thing is, he's like a butcher, so he's covered in blood and fish guts. And he'd be like, kids, look what I brought you. Normally, like, a dad would bring, like, a toy or whatever. My dad's like, look at this. And it's like a decapitated cow's head. And then it's fucking one eye's missing. It's like a Fetty Wap cow.
Oh, my God.
And then my dad would be like, I put it in a bag, and the bag is, like, bloody and dripping blood. And then my mom is, like, looking at my dad, and she goes, why do you have to scare the kids? You bring the beheaded cow. But there's like, this is good cow.
That was how my parents used to flirt with each other. When they used to come home and see each other, they would brag about how much money they saved at the grocery store.
Oh, that's like their foreplay?
Yeah, that was their foreplay. Oh, I'm Shireen.
Grupo.
Saving money left and right.
Yeah, CVS extra care box.
I want to ask you a couple personal, from my just, I'm a fan of comedy and fan of, I'm a student of the game, trying to understand it more and more. So the last couple questions, I want to ask personal stuff that I just want to learn about comedy. Do you got time?
I'm here.
For these last two questions? All right. So basically, bro, a couple things I want to fucking know personally.
Okay.
I went to a comedy club like 3 weeks ago. I'm not going to name the name so they don't get...
Come on. Say 'em.
I don't even remember the fucking name for real, but I went to this comedy club in Hamtramck and I was actually fucking pissed, dude, because I was trying to do stand-up. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I never did stand-up before, but it's been pulsating in me to do it. I was like, I gotta get on a fucking stage and just see what the fuck happens. So I go to this place. It's this small little...
What's it called?
Do I have to say the name?
Of the comedy club?
Yeah.
You can say the name of it.
Can I look it at my phone real quick?
Yeah.
All right.
Should we take a quick commercial break?
Nah, it's cool. People like this shit where they stare at me in the beard or whatever the fuck. Check this out. God damn it, man. Was I really gotta say the name of this fucking place?
Yeah, just to say the name of it. But it's good to shout them out too,
All right. Give me 2 seconds, bro. Oh, I got it. Okay. Do you know this person?
No.
All right, good. Makes things easier.
Do I know them? Let me see.
It's like one of the only comedy clubs in Hamtramck.
No, I have no idea who that person is.
All right, so the place is called, man, come on, man. All right, I didn't say this out of my own thing, but the Independent Comedy.
Oh, Independent Comedy Club in Hamtramck. Yeah.
Yeah. So, dude, nothing's wrong with this place. All right, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but here's what happened in my first time going to do stand-up comedy. So I have a pulsating thing inside of me for years. I want to go do stand-up. I get to this comedy club in Hamtramck. I get inside, and they tell me there's like a waiting list to get on stage. So it's like I'm 22nd in line. I was like, all right, I'll wait through 22 comedians to get on stage, whatever. So I sit down and I'm watching these comedy acts, and it's obviously not good. It's just the guys' new material or guys who are just trying out comedy for the first time. But then you get sprinkles of like headliners and guys that are actually like really skilled. And it was cool to watch them. But this is the way the community worked inside of that place. Only like the guys who have no names and that are actually watching the show are actually sitting in the chairs. There's like 30 chairs. There's like 8 people sitting in the chairs. I'm one of the 8 people. And then the actual good comedians, the guys who've been like headlining and doing tours, are all standing in the back of the bar. It's like 15, 20 of them just standing in the back, just like watching the show from afar. Everybody's doing stand-up. Nobody's laughing, even if it is funny. Nobody was laughing. There was a lot of guys who went on stage. I would laugh. I would give it up. Like, this guy's funny. This guy's going in. He's doing the whole bit. Nobody's laughing ever. It's just me laughing and like 2 other people. I was the only person laughing to the point where like the comedians would get on stage and be like, hey, they would point at me and be like, hey, are you fucking around? Like, what are you doing here? I'm like,
are you being supportive or are you genuinely laughing?
No, I was genuinely laughing. I was like, that's hilarious. This guy went for the act. And mind you, I haven't never been to like an underground scene like that.
And they were mad at you for laughing.
They were pointing it out. They're like, are you actually laughing or are you joking? Are you making fun of us? And I was like, no, I'm actually genuinely laughing. This is hilarious. Like, you guys are funny.
I wish you would have said, I'm actually making fun of you.
That would have been funny, yeah. But they were getting fierce with it, and I felt bad. I was just like, these guys are really insecure about their acts. One guy got on stage, and he tried to blame the audience for nobody laughing, and I did yell at him. I said, never blame the audience. I was like, never blame the audience, because he was basically saying, my jokes are too smart for you guys.
But was he bad, though?
He was bad.
He's bad, yeah.
Yeah, and
so
I was like,
basically this guy's in denial.
Yeah, I said to him straight up, I was like, yo, never blame the audience. I was like, because at the end of the day, it's not our fault that we're not laughing. You're literally actually bad. Like,
and you just shouted this out from your seat?
I did. I pointed straight at him, and then he made fun of my jacket. Anyway, so, and that's the only thing people laughed at. When he responded to me and made fun of my jacket, everybody started laughing. So I was like, okay, good, we got something going. So anyway, these comedians are getting on stage. I'm laughing. It's like 20th comedian, so I know I'm coming up. My heart's racing. It's your first time on stage. I'm fucking like, oh shit, I'm about to get on there. I have no act. I have nothing written down. I don't even know what the fuck I'm gonna say when I get on that bitch. Anyway, so it's the 20th act. Some guy makes some crazy racist ass joke, and these 2 people in the audience started fighting each other. They started throwing lighters at each other, started throwing cups at each other's fists everywhere. Everybody's fucking bodying each other. It's like a whole fucking fit happens. And then the hostess kicked everybody out. They're like, clear out, everybody clear out. And we all left. And then I didn't get to do I was like one away from doing my set, but whatever. I was like, whatever. I at that point, I was like, I'm not doing stand-up. Fuck that. But
Okay.
the thing that pissed me off about the whole thing was two things. One, the community. The headliners in the back, the guys who are actually skilled and talented, and the guys who are like can actually give the guy on stage a boost, are literally not giving it up, not laughing, not being a part of the audience, but just staring and watching. That fucking pissed me the fuck off.
Whoa.
So I want you to nail that one first before I get into the second part that pissed me off.
I'll say two things, bro. If I'm at an open mic, I mean, I don't really go to open mics. There are times where I'm really itching to do a show, and there are some comedy clubs that'll have like an open mic, and I'll basically just show up just so I can go up in front of a crowd, just so I could try some things if I really want to try something. And yeah, bro, it's pretty standard for someone who's like headliner experience in comedy to basically not really be as attentive. But the thing is, we're always listening. If someone says something hilarious, I'll give it up. I ain't gonna hold no laughs hostage. I don't. Because if someone says something funny, I laugh. If there's people that are genuinely holding all their laughter in, it's like, I don't think they're a real comic. Because I love hearing funny shit. I love it when people are funny. I don't care if they've never done comedy. I don't care if they work at a grocery store. If I'm at a grocery store and then a grocery store employee says something hilarious, I'm like, man, that is a hilarious thing to say about bananas. I'm going to laugh. I don't try to hold shit in. I don't think they do. I would say the comic on stage, if you're doing a show at a bar, I'm sorry, not a bar, I've been to Independent Comic Club before. You're doing a show, you're doing an open mic rather, you're there. If you can't take control of that room, you ain't ready. So what I'm hearing your story is that there was a bunch of comics that went on stage and they didn't know how to control a room. One guy had a glimpse of controlling a room when he started making fun of your jacket, when he eventually was able to step out of the ridiculousness of his set and how it was not funny and basically do some comment on the fly. He actually showed some sort of skill. And then people started to laugh and they were impressed with his skill. Before that, he wasn't showing any skill.
Yeah.
And you're in Detroit. Motherfucker, they ain't gonna laugh for no reason. So this sounds very standard of an open mic, bro. These are the rooms that built me tough. Because I'm in LA and I'm doing shows at a bar. People are talking by the bar. Some people are paying attention. I go up and I'm bombing. And there's times, bro, where I've done an open mic where everyone at the bar stopped. The fucking bartender stopped shaking the drinks. This motherfucker's shaking drinks like normally he's like shaking them wild. And then I'm on stage and he's like, he's pouring it like this.
How long did it take you to learn to control a room or even get into the realm of learning how to control a room?
It takes around I think 7 years.
God damn.
There are some people that have the energy of controlling a room and they can still do it very early. But I mean to really go into any room and be able to understand the energy that's going on. Like there's shows that I'll do right before I go up on stage. I'll look at the crowd and I'll be like, oh, this is going to be work. This is not going to be easy. And then I'm like, I'm watching the comics. Like I actually go up in some shows that are, there's this show at Flappers Comedy Club in Burbank, short story. But before I get into that, I just want to answer your question first and foremost. It's very standard, bro, of an open mic. That's the energy of an open mic. You keep doing it. You keep going. And you'll be able to build thick skin. You'll be able to build presence. You'll be able to really tell the hilarity of a joke. I'm sure there were some people that went up and probably had a funny joke and people are like, oh, then more people in the back laughed. I'm sure they weren't trying to be silent the whole time.
I swear it's
there was not one funny joke the whole night that they laughed at?
I'm not trying to be a dick, and that's why I didn't want to name the place or whatever, but the comedians there, I know these comedians. I've known them for a long time. I swear there was a resistance, man. I swear I felt it. I was like, bro, this is...
You could be right, though. You could be right. There are some people that are just so jealous and so angry at whatever it is they're angry at that they've lost the ability to enjoy comedy.
Right.
And I'm just like, that's very sad when you're at that point. Because when you're at a comedy club, bro, if you're a vet, let's say you're a vet, right? And I don't know what's considered a vet these days. Some people are like, I'm doing comedy 3 years. I'm a vet. It's like, no, you're not. But let's say there's someone who's experienced in comedy. Let's say between 5 and 10 years. And they're at an open mic. and there's other comics on stage and they're not there to get better and encourage other comics, it's just like, you're a loser, in my opinion. Actually, I wouldn't say you're a loser. I would say you've misunderstood and you're actually making a huge mistake. I think it's a mistake. I think you should go to every open mic with your pad, writing jokes, listen to other people, hearing what other people do. Because you might hear someone that's really funny. You're like, oh, that person's funny. Now all of a sudden you have a funny friend. Y'all can write jokes together. Y'all can shoot shit together. And y'all could like combine forces and it's like hang out with more funny people. But it's like, I get it. If someone's on stage and they're bombing, they're not funny at all. I too am just like, sorry, bro. I understand you're a good person, but I ain't trying to be cool with you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you see somebody who's a rapper and they suck. They're very bad. And they're like, man, I want to get on your podcast. And you're just like, dog, you ain't got no bars. You got 0 bars, bro. I don't respect your music. What kind of conversation are we going to have?
Right, exactly.
Right? So it's like, don't take it personal, but there's some people who do. So it's like, yeah, bro, have this energy, I think is wrong. I think you should be open. I think you should be encouraging people. And it's like, you know, I didn't have a whole lot of encouragement, but there were some people who encouraged me. And when I started doing open mics, bro, I made sure I was funny because I hated when I wasn't funny. I hated when I was bombing. So that's why I was like, I got to do crowd work. I got to do something.
Yeah.
And I'd figure it out. But, yeah,
control.
Man. Control the room, bro.
Yeah, but no, I'm saying, how did you get into the control part of it? Like learning, you said you used to get bartenders to stop, but like it takes 7 years to figure out the control aspect of it.
I'd say, yeah.
About 7 years?
Yeah, man. I mean, to go up into any room and you'll be able to gauge the energy and you'll be like, cool, I know what to do now.
Damn, dude.
I can go, bro. I mean, I've been performing in crowds as big as, 7,000.
How many years are you in right now?
My first comedy show ever was in February 2011.
Oh my God.
I'd say I probably took comedy seriously December 2011. So 12 years.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
And so now you're at the point where 7,000 is like max capacity you've had so far?
Yeah, it's the biggest room I played, yeah.
That's a stadium, right? Like a field?
It was a amphitheater.
Oh, cool. Damn. Yeah, dude, that's fucking crazy.
And doing a big venue like that, bro, was like, that's easier to me than doing like a small room, doing an open mic.
Really?
Yeah, but now it's a little different. Like I'll show up in an open mic and, obviously I understand the language of joke telling and I'm able to try something and really get a gauge if it's hilarious. And like there's some rooms I've been in where I'm just like, oh, this is going to be a very hard room. This is going to be very difficult. So I'm like, I'm not even going to give them jokes. I'm just going to fuck around. And I'm just going to talk off the top of my head. I'm just going to talk about random shit.
Yeah.
And then I'm with nothing in a packed room of tight people. I'll just sit down. I'll just say random shit. And I trust that it's hilarious.
So it's kind of like the Be Like Water scenario, just mold to what makes sense at that moment instead of having like a preset idea every single time you go onto a stage.
There's some UFC fighters I'll watch that are so calm when they're getting their ass beat. They're getting their ass beat. They're still breathing. They're calm. They're playing defense. They know the time will pass. And then they step back and then they fucking knock out a bitch. Like Israel Asanya, like when he fought, I can't remember who he fought, but he lost to him once and then he fought him again. And bro, there was a point where he has him against the cage and the guy's just like, bam, hit him, 10, 15 punch combination. Israel leaned back, bro, knocked him out, bro.
Yeah.
Knocked him out. Patience. You're getting beat up by the crowd. You feel like, man, nothing's working. You're just chilling. You're chill, bro. It's okay. But you don't develop that sort of patience until like later on because you have to be in war to understand what that's like. So I'll say 2 things. Number 1, bro, patience, be in the pocket. You'll be fine. You'll learn that later on. Yes, be like water. 2, bro, you got to do stand-up again.
No, I am. I was just like,
Right,
I think it was a sign from God to like just hold off on it for a minute. That's what I think that was. Cause like, bro, like literally you're next, and then a fight breaks out. I was like, listen. I don't really take signs that often, but I was like, this is Pulp Fiction. This is divine intervention right now. Let me fucking take it. Like, let me just not get involved in this right now.
Yeah.
But it's very cool to hear your insight on it. It's kind of independent, upcoming comedians probably can listen to what you just said and be like, oh, this is just part of the culture. Like, this is how it works. Until you open the ranks and you get bigger and bigger, and then you don't have to deal with that shit anymore.
Yeah, bro. I mean, a lot. It's very easy to get in your feelings.
Yeah.
And I feel for those people. I too used to get in my feelings. I used to get in my feelings all the time. And then I'm like, I just gotta write better jokes.
Oh.
I just got to write better jokes. And then I'd show up to the open mic the next day. I would basically go home, listen to my set, and I'm like, all right, what is the joke? What's the premise? What's the punchline? I'm like, there's something about this that's not landing. Why? And I'm like, oh, I figured out why. It's because I haven't established enough of an argument yet. And then I started to change some words around. Then I'd show up to the open mic the next day, and all of a sudden I got chuckles now. There's been times where I've removed a word from a setup. I removed a word, and now all of a sudden the joke's funny.
Damn.
All of a sudden the joke's funny.
So it's like precision, really, like every single moment.
It depends. You know, it's really like being in the moment. And yeah, bro, there's a lot of precision with punchlines. Like you know, that joke of, I remember one year for my birthday, my mom gave me my brother's jacket. That was the gift. Theft. Whenever I say that was the gift, I pause and I say theft. It always gets a laugh. I used to be like, the gift was theft. And it never hit as hard. I'm like, how come the gift was theft doesn't hit hard? Then I'm like, how can I switch it around? And that's when I found that was the gift. Pause. Theft.
Legendary.
So it's like the answer is there. Same thing with rappers, bro. They're trying to figure out some bars and it's like, oh, no, bro, this goes here to make the thought more complete. Then it's like, oh, shit.
Yeah. Very fucking cool, man. I'm sure comedians pull you over to the side all the time and ask you shit like that, like just like fucking tidbit of information.
I mean, bro, this is all shit that I've also learned from my peers, you know?
Yeah.
Like Ian Edwards, bro. Ian Edwards, you know, this guy's a joke technician. Like, he's heard things before, and I've told him jokes, ideas, and premises, and he's like, flip it. Then I would flip it, and he goes, yeah, that's better. Same thing with my buddy, Azhar Usman. You know, he's someone that I collaborate with and I write with. And, you know, him and I together. Same thing with me and Matt, bro. This is what we do. We're on the road, and we're thinking of ideas and jokes and funny things and movie ideas and other ideas, and we're able to find the best idea.
Very fucking cool, man. Very cool, man. This is very educational and fucking hilarious. Are you planning to come back anytime soon, or is this your trip out for a while?
I'm gonna try and come back in February.
Okay.
So hopefully I'll come back in February, and then who knows, man? Maybe I'll move back here.
Really thinking?
Maybe.
Why would you leave? You're fucking hot over there. What are you coming over here for? It's
I can get hot here.
You think you can kill it over here? I don't know. It's this. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying, like, think about it like this, right? There's barely any comedy stories out here that are actually like fucking going crazy. I mean, what's his name just opened up Mike's store here. Why do I always forget his name from next Friday? God.
Mike Epps?
Mike Epps opened up one mic here. Do you hear about that?
So he has a comedy club here.
Yeah, he
is it
opened up
open right now?
Yeah, it's humongous.
Where is it?
It's in downtown Detroit.
Wow. So Mike Epps has a club here. There's
that's a good sign.
House of Comedy. There's Ridley's Comedy Castle.
Trixie's.
I didn't know Trixie's was like popping like that. There's the Downtown Independent. And then there's this. So those are like the 5
main ones.
Clubs. Is there? And then there's Punchlines in Southfield.
Yeah. I heard the Punchline is a tough one for sure, though, because I remember I was telling my friend about it. He's like, never mind. I don't want to talk about comedy clubs because then you don't want to hurt.
No, but I will say this, bro. The last time I was at the Punchline, there was this host, and I messaged him. I was like, hey, man, I'm going to come into town. You know, I'd love to get some time. And he goes, yeah, man, for sure. I got you, you know. And I would assume that people in Detroit, they would show me love. They're like, hey, man, this guy came from LA. This guy clearly has some like credits. This guy's clearly toured with some big people. This guy's clearly experienced. Why would I not want to have him on the show?
Yeah.
Right? So there's someone who doesn't want to have me on their show. I would just be like, okay, cool. Right? So I don't ever assume that, but I'm always like, maybe just some people don't know me and their lineup is full. So I don't take it personal when people are like, yo, sorry, we can't. Or if they ignore me, I also don't take that personal. But this was like, you know, a few years ago, like 2 years ago. And the dude is like, yeah, man, pull up. So I pull up. And I was like, hey, man, I got to go. It's cool to go first. He goes, yeah, I got you. And the guy's like, all right, man, it's first comic, man. Man, I'm so lucky to see this dude, man. This dude is hilarious, bro. So funny, man. Man, keep going for Damon. And then this dude, Damon, goes up. And he performs for like 20 minutes. So I'm like, all right, cool, man. I'm not going to ask him like, hey, man, can I go up next? Because I'm like, you know what, bro? Maybe there's something that happened where Damon's like, I got to go. So I'm like, cool, man. And I don't know if the guy's name was Damon or not. So I was like, all right, cool. Whatever, it's fine. So I'm chilling. And then the next guy then goes in and he goes, hey, man, this next person coming to the stage, man, oh, man, it's her birthday. And then I was like, so I was quiet. And then the guy put her up. and she wasn't even a comedian. She just sung 3 songs. And then he was like, yo, man, we gonna keep the show going, bro. But first, man, bro, I got in an argument with my boss the other day. And then he went into some 10-minute story about this argument.
Yeah.
And then he goes, anyway, man, next comic come to stage, man. Hey, Damon, you want to go up again?
No fucking way.
No, it was like someone else. So I just
You tricked the fuck out of it.
so I just left.
Oh, you just bounced?
I just bounced, yeah, man. So I just bounced. And
Yeah.
it's like, you know.
That's what I kind of heard about. I mean, I'm not trying to down their place, but I've heard so many like weird stories about trying to perform there that, like, again, professionals.
But I just want to say this. It's not the club. It's that specific person.
Right, the host or the person running the actual
Not the
event.
club.
Yeah, not the
I never
club.
met the club owners. I'm sure they're great, bro. I got nothing but respect for Southfield businesses. Y'all should support these comedy clubs for sure. This was just intended to be a hilarious story about the last time I was there. I would perform there again because I just want to help businesses in Detroit. Yeah. And Southfield too. That's where I grew. That's where you grew up in Southfield too, right?
Warren,
yeah, I grew up in Southfield, bro. Yeah.
I think it'd be cool. It would be cool to see you. It'd be cool to see how you do it. That's what I would be more interested in is how the fuck you do it. Because again, it's black dominated, which is, I mean, that's awesome because it's basically Detroit saying, yo, we're going to take over the fucking comedy scene here. I have a lot of friends in the comedy scene here. They don't have good stories about the comedy scene here. I'm not going to lie. I hear a lot of like horror stories and I hear a lot of like, there's no fucking chance and all that shit. Like the only reason I'm saying shit like this is not because of my personal experience. I'm talking about I have legitimate comedian friends in Detroit that don't say anything good about trying to become a comedian in Detroit. They never say anything like that. It seems like there's something coming along the road, or it seems like something's gonna eventually happen, or success is gonna break out. But that's just them, I guess. Like I don't know everybody. I can't say I know fucking everybody, but I do know a lot of comedians that are not happy right now. Mike Epps does have the one mic, so maybe you can dominate that. Man. I'm just gonna watch. If you do it, I'm just gonna fucking sit there, help you promote it, and just watch.
I mean, bro. I mean, look, man.
So like, what's happening?
I could be close to New York. I can go fly to New York, do a bunch of shows there.
Oh yeah. You
go
can
to Chicago, do a bunch of shows in Chicago.
But like, isn't it when you're in LA, you're like, fucking right there, like it's all happening, boom, 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 boom.
I can just show up to LA whenever I want, bro. I'll just fly there, stay there for like 2 weeks, do a bunch of shows, say what up to everybody, have meetings with who I need to have meetings with. Write something with somebody if I want to write something. Who's
been the coolest person that ever bumped you?
I've been bumped by Chappelle.
You did not, Dave Chappelle?
Yeah, I was supposed to go up at the Comedy Store. They do this show on Monday, where it's called the Potluck, and they essentially created this night to where open micers can have an opportunity to showcase for the Comedy Store. Sometimes you show up at the Comedy Store and you say, there's some phenomenal comics. There's comics that fly in from other countries to come do this Monday night showcase, right? I was waiting to go up, and then I think I got there at like 8. And then I was there till like 1, waiting to go up. And because the guy said he would put me up last. And also, I wasn't like waiting the whole time. I was also like studying and understanding comedy and like walking around. I went to go get something to eat, and then I came back. And then it's like 1 a.m. The guy's like, all right, man, I'll put you up next for 5 minutes. Because it's like, you know, if you show up and hang out long enough and the host thinks you're cool, they'll just throw you up. And then so before I went up, he was like, hey, man, Dave Chappelle's here. And then I was like, okay. And he goes, so, you know, yeah, the show's over after he goes up. I'm not going to put up Dave Chappelle and put you up. Damn. So I was like, all right.
That's kind of honorary. Like, that's kind of sick.
Yeah, bro,
dude.
he's a great guy too, bro. He's one of the best, man. Actually, I'm sorry, not one of the best. He is the best, in my opinion.
For sure.
He's phenomenal, bro. He's also a great dude, man.
You got to spend time with him, like talk to him and shit?
Yeah, I met him a few times, bro. Met him a few times, man. He's very gracious, good dude. He's a great dad, you know. I see him with his, you know, I've been to events where like his kids are there, and I really admire his work, bro. He is definitely someone that is gonna be talked about forever.
Yeah, he's the greatest of all time. Very cool, man. That's a cool story. Fucking sick. Dave Chappelle bumped Paul.
Yeah, man.
That's like a dream. Dude, if Dave Chappelle literally fucking like...
I was pissed.
What?
Yeah, because I wanted to go up, because I had this joke about how this barber tried to give me a hand job. And I was like waiting 4 hours to say it. No, 5 hours to say it. I was like, I can't wait to say it, bro.
And then Chappelle pulled up and was like, she fucking saved that for the next show, my boy.
Yeah.
Doesn't the comic usually bump you? Or doesn't the comic usually come up and like, yo, is this straight if I still...
I was like so new to comedy, bro. What the fuck?
Oh, this is a long time ago?
Yeah, long time ago. Long time ago.
You probably don't get bumped anymore. It's probably like fucking rare.
Nah, bro, I'll get bumped, man. If I'm doing a show and then they're
Yeah.
like, hey, man, Joe Coy's here. Kevin Hart is here. Like,
You met Kevin Hart too?
I've met him before. Yeah. I don't think in any capacity that he would like remember, but yeah, I've met him before and I've shot sketches for his company. So there is some.
The Red Cup Boys?
No, not Red Cup Boys. Heartbeat.
What's that?
Heartbeat Productions, his production company.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of Heartbeat. So what'd you get to do for them?
I wrote some sketches for a channel that he started. I think it was called like Higher Level or Next Level.
Cool.
And then he hired my boy Jahan Jones to make some content. So me, Jahan Jones, my buddy Brandon Brody, two comedians, we started like create and write stuff.
It's fucking sick, bro. Why don't you ever say shit like this on the podcast?
I think it's because it was so long ago.
Oh.
And there was I don't think these sketches like came out. So it was sort of like something that happened, but it was nothing that I'm like, man, I just did this thing. And also, bro, like the things that I like to like talk about is like, I had a very heavy hand in like working with Matt on his special. And I'm man, that's something I'm very proud of. Like,
Yeah.
I guess sometimes I don't really zoom out enough and think about all the things I've done, bro. Like I did do a lot of shit.
Yeah, bro. I guess you'd have to come back, just keep coming back on and just keep unraveling the fucking stories.
Yeah, and then I did that. And then I'm motherfucking.
I haven't done shit, so it's pretty cool sitting next, to somebody who's like I said, growing up, I was always a student of the game. To see somebody from, I'll just say the Chaldean community, which is fucking cool, is like fucking living the dream in a different dimension. Like you're doing it, and watching you do it's fucking cool because it's like that's probably how I would do it. Not the same jokes or anything, obviously, but like that's how I would fucking do it. Just like be yourself, stay in tune, connect, network, have a great vibe and personality, and just fucking tear up the road, bro. So it's fucking sick watching you do it. Is there anything you want to promote before we sign off?
Bro, I was gonna say two things, man. So Detroit Player is now available. You can watch it on Mint Comedy, mintcomedy.com. Use promo code Paul, Paul, and you can watch the special for half off. It is something I'm so proud of, so please watch it. Also, I want to say this. Do you know Sammy Shiblock?
Yeah, I do know him.
Sammy Shiblock, Palestinian guy from Detroit?
He's at a lot of the rallies and stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, so he wrote and made the original Detroit Player song.
Oh, cool.
And he had his producing team also involved, and I want to just play the song for you.
Let's do it, man.
So this is just the song with the hook, and we have no lyrics. So this is 1 minute and 37 seconds.
Let's do it.
All right, this is it.
I've been hustling all my life. I don't need no favor. I done learned to control this time. And I meet my maker. It won't be nothing left if I did not do right. But I'm a Detroit player. City don't sleep, better turn on your lights.
Man. It's fucking crazy. That's sick. Dude, if I was you, I'd be like struggling to figure out if it's the intro or outro. Like fucking, like walking in with the fucking blue lights hitting you, or is it like fucking walk off the stage and the lights turn off? That's fucking.
I'll show you. I'll show you.
Okay, cool. Paul, fucking unreal having you on, man. Educational, informative, fucking hilarious. Specials, hilarious watching it. I can't wait to watch it on DVD. Or it's DVD.
Kid L got DVD.
DVD.
Damn,
now you guys know how old I am.
dog.
That's why I'm hiding my goatee, man. I want you guys to see how old I am. Appreciate you being a part of this, man. Everybody go cop the. I can't believe it's that. I'm telling you, it was worth at least. If I'm buying something digitally, just like all these movies, it's $20. That's how much I'm paying for a Hollywood movie. I'm paying $20 to watch that special easily. So that's a fucking deal. $4.99. Everybody go grab a copy. We're at Parallel Sound Studio, High Low Visual Shooting Productions. We're out. Peace.